Good afternoon, no matter where you are on planet Earth. This is Scott Schertzen alongside Mr. Obi Spencer, and welcome to Stream Punk Sports Sunday Night Football live reaction, commentary, and rambling as the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to visit the Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Right now, this game has the Chargers as a 5.5-point favorite, part due to the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers last week managed to actually pull out a tie at home against the Detroit Lions, which hurt the spread right now and dropped it by 2 points. Anyway, Mr. Spencer, how are you doing, sir?
I'm fine. This facial no shave November thing is coming in quite well. Remember, this is Men's Health Awareness Month, and what I mean by men's health is those of us with a prostate get that checked. Prostate cancer got Steve Jobs, so I know you're not wealthy enough to beat it. But other than that, I'm excited about this game. I'm excited to get a look at Bobby Hebert because he is certainly someone we talk about a lot. See what he's gonna, see what he brings. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs got their big win today, holding another team to less than 13 points. And in this case, no touchdowns. A team that scored 2 touchdowns every game. Yeah, their offense was a little hurt by losing a couple of wide receivers, but still, Kansas City's looking like the team who I thought they were going to struggle a little more and then go on a run from like a position of 6-6. Mm-hmm. No, they went from 3-4, and I can imagine them going undefeated for the rest of the season and being Super Bowl champs, even if the offense was only today, because the defense has been spectacular for 4 weeks in a row now.
Exactly. And at this point, that team has won 4 straight. They are sitting alone in the AFC West right now with a basically a full game lead, 2 games in the win column over the Chargers, who are obviously playing tonight. They're playing at SoFi Stadium, which is one of the only 2 stadiums in the country that is being used by 2 different NFL teams. In this case, they're playing, in the same stadium as the Rams are, just like over here in the New York, New Jersey area, as the Giants and the Jets are both playing at MetLife Stadium. Right now, as I mentioned, the Chargers are favored by 5.5. And the big difference, though, is 2 things when it comes to Pittsburgh. One, never discount Ben Roethlisberger and his huck it, chuck it football, to quote Zach and Miri make a porno. And, of course, Najee Harris, who right now, in the last 4 games, has actually averaged 80 yards rushing or more. So the big question is, how is he going to do against the worst run defense in the NFL?
Here's my question for Najee Harris. And he might not hit it. He might hit it. But there has traditionally been a rookie wall for running backs in the NFL. They don't play nearly as many games in college, even with the new extended playoffs, which he played in both games because, Alabama. But will that happen to him? And if so, when? That's the big question that he faces. And then Big Ben faces the fact that the other 2 guys he came in with, they've retired. And why did they retire? Because they got old. And Ben has looked old sometimes this season. Looked old a lot last season. But he's looked young at times this season as well. The Steelers obviously need him because they were atrocious last week. I don't care if you give me all the stats in the world that say they were the best team of the week last week. They tied Detroit 16-16. Yeah. That's not something you can let happen.
No. That's a shame in this case here. It was an embarrassment. Yes, granted, Roethlisberger was not in the lineup, but still, you gave the worst team in football a chance to actually end their losing streak, which did happen. They didn't get a win, but that was an embarrassing. That tie felt like a loss, especially given how tight the AFC is right now.
Yeah, or you look at it this way. The Ravens, on the other hand, they had to play the Bears, another bad team. They didn't have their starting quarterback this week. They found a way to win 16-13. So, and this season has been interesting because we have seen some really standout, solid performances from some backup quarterbacks. Arizona right now has gone 2-1 with Colt McCoy.
Yes.
I don't even know who played quarterback for the Ravens today, but I know it wasn't Lamar Jackson because he got sick. And then we've seen some really bad ones like Rudolph last week for the Steelers or Mike White's second game as a full starter. So it's like, you just
Yeah, that obviously didn't work out for the Jets, who fell for 2-8.
No, it did not work out. So, I mean, the Jets are just one example of the bizarreness of the season. Like the Cowboys had their horrible loss a couple weeks ago. Dak's first game back. And then they lost again this time. Looked bad again, but at least the defense, you could see what was going on the field. You could see that the pass rush was coming fast and furious, et cetera, et cetera. Meanwhile, then you've had the Titans who lost Henry and they were winning.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went and they lost this week to nobody. Well,
They
Indianapolis
lost badly this week.
What?
They lost bad this week too.
Yeah. Bills lost again this week. And then it's exciting what's happening because it's so parody driven, but you don't know. There's no. On the other hand, it's exciting, but there's no good story.
There's no standout right now, and that's the big difference with this season versus so many others. It's pretty much every division for the most part is up for grabs, and I would even go so far as to say even the NFC East is now mortal and up for grabs. Dallas losing today dropped them to 7-3. Philly is 5-6. Is it guaranteed that the Cowboys are going to lose the division? No, probably not. But you know what? It suddenly got interesting over there, even in that one, which was theirs to lose.
I'm glad you brought that up because I believe, and I'm double checking right now. Yes, the Cowboys' biggest savior is that not only are the Eagles 5-6, but the football team is 4-6,
mm-hmm.
and they play each other twice. And I see zero reason watching the way they've both played lately why they're not going to split those games.
Sure.
So I feel like it's a solid 2 games for the Cowboys. If they take care of their business, they will get the advantage of those 2 teams splitting, and that 2 games should work out for them. But as you said, even them, who I think in our facts of the day, they're the team most likely to win any division, according to Fantasy Outsiders, and the team most and the team most likely to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl from the NFC. That second stat I didn't buy as much from the eye test, but the first stat I did. Like I don't see, still even with the Eagles winning today, I saw some things in that game that were again disappointing, even though they won.
Yeah, and like I said, it pokes a hole in there, but also at the same time gives Kansas City a lot of credit because they again had a great job on defense. In this case, keeping Dak and Dallas to only 9 points. So that defense, which struggled mightily initially, has pretty well turned it around because they have not given up more than 17 points in the last 4 games. 17 to the Giants, 7 to the Packers, 14 to the Raiders last week, on the road, by the way, and then at home, only giving up 9. So the defense itself, which was much maligned early on, is now a defense that honestly is showing what it's capable of doing. Again, like you said, not a great offensive effort, but it was enough to win in this particular case. And by and large, they were up 16-3 at halftime. So you can start to be able to basically put a little bit, but you kept the Cowboys to only field goals.
So I apologize because I can't say this to a regular sportscaster or writer.
We're not regular, so.
But you stepped on a pet peeve of mine.
Did I now?
Yes, you used the word malign incorrectly. You said that their defense was much maligned. No, their defense was statistically horrible and losing them ball games. Malign means their defense is playing well and people are saying they're bad. No, that defense, there wasn't any way you could look at that defense and say, hey, they're good, and people are saying they're bad. So incorrect use of malign. I apologize for calling it out. It's one of those
you're a tech personality. Tech personalities correct mistakes. That's what you guys do.
Not all mistakes, but that one gets me. Sorry, I apologize.
So how about this? Cowboy, no play good, throw ball bad, no get points. Bah.
That's all
Cowboys
true.
Bad.
That was definitely true. The Cowboys no play good, dropped 4 passes. I think that was a problem for them. And then Dak forced the ball at the end of the first half. That was a problem. So I told you there was something I wanted to talk about in this game. There was 2 taunting penalties I saw. There may have been more. The first one was CEH goes into the end zone on one of those plays where a back is running out wide. The guy with the ball is running pretty far out wide, and he knows no one's going to catch him. And he pointed his finger at the closest defensive player. They threw the flag on that. All right, I guess that's taunting. I'm not positive, but okay. Later in the game, there's a punt, and the guy covering the gunner pushes him out of bounds, and as he's pushing him out of the bounds, his helmet gets grabbed, and they go to the ground. They start fighting, whatever, and then the guy gets up. He has no helmet on. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pause because I know the kickoff just is happening, or probably happened for most of our viewers.
Yeah, and Roethlisberger's taking the field right now too. We're giving the names and the breakdowns, and Najee Harris, who went on record recently to clarify how his name is supposed to be pronounced. Najee, by the way, not Najee. So anyway, continue, sir. Sorry.
Okay. And so after the scuffle, the guy gets up on the Kansas City Chiefs, and he is pointing at all of the Dallas Cowboys. He does a gun move and did what I would consider totally taunting the Cowboys. Like it's the first time I've watched the game and said, that better get called because that is taunting. So then they call the taunting. That is what the officials call. And then they rehuddle and decide to call the face mask that caused the taunt. Mm-hmm. Now, the only way they had access to the face mask was, of course, the replay screens in the stadium, et cetera, et cetera. It is my understanding that the coaches are good with the taunting calls because they don't want these to turn into fights. And fights are real bad for coaches because players get kicked out and players break hands on helmets when they're fighting. So they don't want fighting because it's no good for their team. This was a taunting that was going to lead to a fight or could have led to a fight. This was the one that was – I understand there was a penalty. To go and make up that penalty call totally took the rule, the spirit of the rule, and crushed it the other way by making them offsetting. Like, this was the taunt that needed to be called. This was – now, it didn't matter because, like, 2 plays later, there's an interception. So it's all over, and it had no effect on the game that they didn't lose the 15 yards. But I was really unhappy with the whole spirit of the rule thing. Like, this is a thing we're focusing on. And yes, taunting usually happens as a reaction to something else, but we decided that we're going to do the taunt. So that's my little rant, as we thought, as it were. Let's go to the game with Najee.
Yes.
And Big Ben.
Yeah. Ooh. Right now, like I said, we've just gotten underway at this point. Ironically enough, the NFL.com website has yet to update itself. Let's see what happens here. Maybe I can get lucky. But right now, we're looking at 1st and 10. Roethlisberger at the 38-yard line. One back, I'm assuming, presumably, probably Harris. Roll out, and is that picked? That is picked. Oy. That is not the start that Ben Roethlisberger will have. But actually, was that a pick or a push? Tomlin looks shocked, though. No, actually, it's considered an incomplete pass. But boy, they dodged a bullet big time right there.
Wow, I guess he was out of bounds. Yes.
Yes, possession. Yeah, okay. That second foot went out. Yeah, I think that's a bad slide too. It almost could split your pants that way.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, in this case, like I said, Ben Roethlisberger dodged a hell of a bullet that way. Oof, because that is not the start that they wanted to have at the moment. And there's a jump. All right, pretty sloppy game so far, but
yeah.
As always, if you got questions, thoughts, ideas, compliments, or complaints, by all means, drop a comment down below. We will talk. We will respond. If you got any questions, like I said, anything you got, let us know. As always, you can also find us on Stream Punk Sports on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course here on Twitch as well. The only difference is on Twitter, it's Stream Punk Sport with a singular because it's only 15 characters. So, but right now, 2nd and 5, so 5 yards for Pittsburgh. That actually is a good way to be able to overcome the mistake that just happened. So,
and yeah, We are always interested in having your comments drop to us. We'd like to see what's happening, what you're thinking of this game. You can help lead a conversation because
yeah, like I said, if you got any thoughts, any questions, or any comments, if you think we suck, drop a message and let us know we suck. It's all good to me. But right now, we have to give a shout out, and we haven't talked about this yet. For those of us in fantasy that had a really crappy week like I did, my team, by the way, who also had to scratch Kyler Murray for the third time, my team, by the way, being called Cobra Kyler, thank you for the name, came up with it myself, Jonathan Taylor, 4 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown, 3 catches for 19-yard receiving, and 185 yards rushing. For me personally on fantasy, 51.9 points out of my currently 105. So that man has almost half of my points by putting in a monster performance today. So you, sir, I'm going to find out where you live. I'm going to probably send you a gift basket, maybe a fruit basket. I'm thinking maybe something like that, because you would have saved my fantasy week or something like this, assuming I actually was able to win this week. So massive respect to that man. He is more or less single-handedly keeping the Indianapolis Colts in the race right now. And performances like that, while rare, are the big reason why he could be considered an MVP this season, especially with Derrick Henry being out.
Well, so first, Jonathan Taylor and fantasy. I'm sure you, like me, I also, one league, I'm playing Taylor. I wasn't expected to win that game anyway, with Taylor had just put in a pedestrian 100 yards, 2 touchdown game.
Pedestrian 100 yards, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, yeah.
But yes, I too, in a league that was much closer for me, I am up now by just under 50 points with my opponent having 2 players left. Mm-hmm. And if I win, that will be on Jonathan Taylor's back, as he did go for 58 points for me. I think you bring an interesting conversation to light in the MVP race. We saw the guy who I think was leading the race in the last 3 weeks. The 2 guys who were leading the race have both taken steps back. One is Mighty Mouse, because his team has gone 2-1 with him on the bench. The other being Rodgers, whose team has also gone whose team has gone 1-2. One of those games he was on the bench because he was sick, and I just think the other one he played in, and I think he got a lot of bad publicity. And at least for this year, I think writers are going to be hesitant to vote for him. So with both those 2 guys kind of losing out, I'm going to go out and say your boy, I don't even know if he's your boy, but the guy who is struggling now with, I believe, 26 touchdowns to 11 picks. In that being
my dude that basically everybody gave up on, but has since turned the frig around. Yes. I think it's going to be a story. Oh, Mahomes turned it around. He took the team, and I can conceivably see them, like I said, going. Maybe I didn't say it on the show, but I know I said it to you. I can see them conceivably going undefeated right up until the Super Bowl is over. There's zero reason to believe they won't. Their defense looks spectacular. Their offense struggled a little today, but give credit where credit is due. The Cowboys defense has shown some life this season. So I'm not that's my guess this week. Okay.
It's a guess. It's not a prediction. I would not call that a prediction.
It's too early, I think, for me to say that. Part of the reason I'm saying Jonathan Taylor at the moment is because now he's literally in a deadlocked tie as yardage goes. Derrick Henry was at 937. He is now at 937. He is averaging 5.8 yards a rush. Nick Chubb is, and Lamar Jackson are both at 6. But in this case right now, he is now 200 yards ahead of Nick Chubb. Chubb's got, 3 games less played, granted. But Jonathan Taylor has raised his game and now easily, very easily, could take over the rushing title. And like I said, I mean, he is a big reason why that team is able to survive and be able to continue doing what they're doing. Is it enough to be able to keep them in the race? Maybe. But if they're able to stay put, and keep going, basically make a run at this, yeah, you have to consider that man as basically possible MVP.
Again, like I said before, it was a guess, not a prediction, because I think this goes back to how we started this conversation, which is there's no clear story There's no clear dominant team. There's no clear dominant player. And there's not even a defensive guy who's going to go ahead and this is funny because this is the year if there was a defensive guy having a year like Watt had a few years ago or Donald had a few years ago, like there was a guy who was clearly the best defensive player on the field and his team was contending, you'd be like, finally give it to the defensive guy. But there's not. So a running back is just as likely to win it as a quarterback this year, which is even in itself something that feels a little new. Although I think you and I grew up with MVP running backs.
Sure.
But yeah, that's definitely as good of if the Colts continue to win and make the playoffs. I think that's as good as a guess as anything. Because again, I don't think you're predicting either. We're just looking at this is hard to tell.
I would say, like I said, it's worthy of a discussion at this point right now.
Yes, I would say he is in the discussion because nobody's not.
Yeah. Right? Nobody, like you said, nobody's clear cut on this. You know, but his 937 yards after 10 games, that's solid. That's 93 yards per game. Right now, as far as touchdowns go, he's at 9 TDs so far. And that's, like I said, worth the attention. On the passing side of things, as I think, incomplete, and it's going to have to be kicking for a field goal. You want to talk about, now here's another conversation. Comeback player of the year. Right now, Matt Stafford's the only quarterback over 3,000 yards. He's at 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a 106.1 QB rating, which is tied for Tom Brady for the highest in the league. I'm sorry, no, scratch that. There's a couple of there's two. He's actually looks like he's third right now. But irrespective, with the way that he's played for so long, in Detroit and struggling in Detroit and suffering in Detroit, and to see the year that they're now having right now, I got to wonder in this case, is he basically somebody who needs to be considered when it comes to comeback player of the year?
I think he'll probably win it because I don't know who else would. There's nobody who got, Dak.
Mm-hmm.
Dak would be the guy who I think, because they usually give it to a guy who was injured versus a guy who's just played poorly. And that quarterback, it's hard to, people are going to blame the quarterback for the poor play in Detroit, even though obviously they're worse with Goff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Dak is probably going to have a easier shot at it than he does because it's not just about MVP. It's about, last year you got injured, your ankle bone was shown to the world. And this year you're back and you're playing, you're taking it and you're successful. I think it's going to be hard not to be Dak.
So, yeah, and you know what? You may have a point on something like that. So it's worth a look there as well. But I don't know. I mean, Matt Stafford's a feel-good. Actually, both of them are really feel-good stories in this case.
Right.
But I think maybe to me, what Dak is capable of. Matthew Stafford was always a little bit iffy. So to see the numbers he's putting up now in an environment where he's able to thrive so much more, that's maybe should be more of a feel-good story than it is. Both the two together, but Matthew Stafford in this particular case.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Love to hear what our audience thinks is the comeback player of the year or the potential MVP, as well as if anyone has any bold predictions on the Super Bowl already, because, that's scary.
But yeah, I mean, right now I'm curious to see what ends up happening. I think they're off to obviously a great first half of the season, plus a little bit more at this point. But Matthew Stafford also additionally, as far as completion rate goes, I need to point this out, 67.7%. Derrick Henry, by the way, is, to his credit, at 100%. So he's 1 for 1 with a touchdown. So he technically has the highest QB rating in the league right now at 127. So Derrick Henry will probably run away with the QB rating title, the passing rating title, and at 127.1 because he had the one pass per touchdown.
Isn't there something there like batting average? You have to have enough attempts.
Yeah, I'm looking. You know what it is? I'm looking at the ESPN website right now, and it just happened to pop up there. I thought that was really, really funny.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Raiders side of things, Cooper Kupp right now is top in receiving 41 yards and 10 and also 10 touchdowns. So Kupp is running away. So if you've got him on your fantasy league, be happy about that, because the next highest receiver is only at 5. Highest in yards, highest in touchdowns by a wide margin, highest in targets, looks like too. Most catches.
Oh yeah, like I said earlier, there was in the fantasy football forums, there was a note that Cooper Kupp's father was no longer going to be allowed to have automatic draft access to Cooper Kupp going forward in his league. So yes,
it's always funny. It's always funny sometimes when you hear players basically do fantasy league themselves. I remember one time Matt Hasselbeck, when he was with Seattle, he had his own fantasy league and chose not to start himself and chose to start someone else instead. And he's like, this was the day I threw for like 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. So I ended up losing my own fantasy league by not starting myself.
Maurice Jones-Drew used to was a big fantasy guy. I believe he would like give fantasy advice. Like he had a fantasy advice chat or something. He was big into fantasy.
Yeah. But it's always weird when you see players, basically doing fantasy league, and also players that spend their time looking at their Madden ratings. Because that's apparently a really big thing. Well, they'll sit there and they'll look at their Madden numbers just to be able to see, where they rank in the eyes of EA Sports. Yeah. It's a litmus test. It's a bizarre litmus test.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, because your Madden numbers are what the rest of the world's going to look at you at. I think, these are the Madden numbers and the fantasy numbers are how people are viewing you now, because people are viewing you much more independently than they were 40 years ago, 30 years ago, because they were only teams.
30 years ago when Madden football was just starting. Kids now probably have no idea who John Madden even is.
Yeah, I know. I remember when it first started, it was a computer game, and it was more about coaching, and you made your own plays on it. I was up in a gentleman named Eric's room. I'm going to stop giving last names. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. When we were in high school, and we would just try to build playbooks, and that was a complicated thing to do on the Commodore 64.
Was that an Eric that graduated with you?
Yes.
I'm Facebook friends with him, which is funny because I punched him in the face once.
Did you?
Yeah, I punched him right. He was, picking on me for a while, so I clocked him when we both got suspended for it. But yeah, I know that. But yeah, he's living out in Seattle, I think, somewhere around, or Washington State now. Nice kid.
No, he's actually in Nevada.
Okay, did he move, or do I have the wrong one then?
I think you've just misinterpreted where he's been living.
Oh, okay.
Or you have the wrong guy, but the other guy with that, no. Yes. No, you have the wrong one.
I just put the name down in the chat.
Yeah, you have the wrong one. There was actually 3 Erics in my grade, and it's just before you put the name down in there, I realized which one you were talking about.
So,
no, I'm talking about a different one. Anyway,
that one I clocked in the face.
No, not the one you clocked in the face. Anyway, I think Zerk has a good point. We're now doing, if you look below, Zerk has made us some beautiful panels. One of them links to our YouTube. We have some great YouTube videos with some great fast facts that you can go check out. So go subscribe to that YouTube channel, as Scott called it before, Streampunk Sports with an S. We don't have our own vanity yet, so you're best off following the link down below.
Exactly.
And you'll see our 5 quick facts for the day. Win yourself some bar bets. It's a good deal.
We got another one coming tomorrow for 5 fast facts to make you look like a sports badass when it comes to the Bucs game and the Giants game. Trivia, quick points that be able to just drop on Reddit, be able to drop on, in the bar to basically make you look really, really smart. And when it comes to sports, that's always a good thing. So,
meanwhile, this game is going on nicely with the Chargers moving down the field. Definitely look like an efficient offense. We saw the Steelers get down the field into field goal range, but they looked sloppy doing it. They were helped by a big penalty. What I'm seeing here from this Charger team is actual good offense, and I think that's a big difference worth noting.
And they didn't get picked. They had a really good reverse there where somebody actually ended up shoving Justin Herbert, but picked up 3. But yeah, even before when Roethlisberger had that very near pick, The Steelers. It's funny. The Steelers after last game, I figured would come out a little bit stronger because that was a complete embarrassment. But right now I can see a lot of holes in that team, and I can see where the future is with Justin Herbert, even though he did get a bit of a shove there. But yeah, 3rd down and 2, 31-ish yard line, and yeah, they got enough to cross. So, but yeah, Zircology is our unofficial producer / editor / cheerleader / I don't know, pick everything that you want in this particular case. So, kind of our unofficial boss now, I think, at this point too. It's like, plug the YouTube video channel in the new video. It's like, yep, boss.
I do believe. I will say this. I think you may have finally hit on what his role is for us, and that is producer.
Yeah.
Because that's literally right. That's we're calling him the boss, but that's what the producer does. Hey, on-field talent, on-screen talent. Don't forget. Say something nice.
You know what? That's not a bad thing. I mean, we can figure that out as far as like, an actual title and shit like that. That's fine. I have no problem, give a producer title that is a legit producer title. Producer title in Hollywood basically means like, I don't know, we'll give them a title to make them feel important. Sometimes they'll do stuff, sometimes they won't. But
I thought a producer literally, okay, we're gonna go down the Hollywood path. I literally thought a producer was a title you gave somebody so you could pay them more money off of scale.
Yeah. Sometimes,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on what they do. A lot of the time, producers do handle like the money. So the difference between, the people throwing the money in, the executives, to the film production itself, the director, the DP, and all the rest of it, they're kind of that middle person there. They're also a lot of times usually a lot of fun. Them, like the unit production manager, because when a production's going too long, you can see them just get more and more pissed off, and their faces turn redder and redder as the day goes on because they know that the production's bleeding money. I used to watch that a lot on Gotham because you could tell the producer was getting more and more pissed because he'd move closer and closer to set as things were slowing down. And he would basically, by the end, he was like right there, and you could tell he was going to blow a stack any second. But that show bled money anyway. Great pass over the middle too. Herbert's showing his downs.
Michael Williams is, that's the nice thing for Herbert. I don't know. Is his name pronounced Herbert? Like Herbert?
It is Herbert, not like Bobby Aber.
Okay, so Justin Herbert has one nice thing. He's got Keenan Allen, but Keenan Allen should probably age out of the league before Justin Herbert.
It'll happen.
And then he's got his next wide receiver already lined up in Michael Williams, who will probably peak at the same time as Justin Herbert. And so he's got 10, 15 years of receiver there, which is such an underrated thing for a quarterback. Like some quarterbacks, yes, they're so good it doesn't matter. But there's a lot of great quarterbacks that also thrive because you give them a good receiver to work with for a long time. So
exactly,
that's a huge key right now for Justin Herbert in his extended career. And they get the pass interference in the end zone. Mike Williams, the big body wide receiver.
First down and goal. So, yeah, right at the 1 yard line. Herbert right now is 6 for 7 for 63 yards. So he's making stuff happen right now and controlling the clock fairly well, too. Roethlisberger's not bad.
Julio Jones and
that's it.
Julio Jones and Matty Ice are a great example of what I just talked about, where, yes, you had such a great wide receiver. You were able to be great for a long time because you had such a simpatico with him.
False start on the offense. So the touchdown is negated, and they move back to the 6 yard line now.
Good. Maybe they'll get this one to Keenan Allen instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you start passing the ball. You can throw a couple passes this way. Put that up there. So I got to admit, I'm a little out of the loop because I was covering NYCFC today. So I did what I could to kind of follow along, but it was a good event. Probably the last time they're going to be playing at Yankee Stadium this year.
So, that's okay. You have a day job, so let's stick with it.
Well, I'm saying I got a couple here, but yeah, it was a good event. My wife Robin came along because I just put in the request, and so the two of us kind of made a weird little activity date by going to sit in the press box at Yankee Stadium. Yeah. And by the way, first touchdown of the game. So good run on a first down and 6. I was a little confident it was going to be a pass play. I was dead wrong, and whoopsie.
So I like that. So now you can't do what I'm about to say every single time, because if you do it every single time, obviously your opposing coaches will know. But I think too many teams do not run play action inside the 5 on first down and goal. And they run play action too many times, or don't even try play action to run the ball from the 10 to the 5. You know,
True.
This is a nice play. I high respect and like the call.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great play in this case. But that's exactly what they needed. He was off to a good start. Eckler was off to a good start anyway, because he had already had 3 catches for 16 yards. I'm sorry, 3 rushes for 16 yards and a catch as well. So he's been off to a solid start. But now
Eckler,
it's going to be good.
Eckler's in another league of mine. Eckler I just put the nail in the coffin, that touchdown. So I can stop watching that game. Thank you, Austin Eckler.
Well, tomorrow, right now, he's got Kenny Golladay. I've got Daniel Jones and also Chris Godwin. So I need 12 points between that differential there to pull out the win. And all of that win, if I'm lucky enough for it, will be, like I said, on Jonathan Taylor, because that was pure unbridled beast mode today. That was using Madden cards.
So in my league, that's super duper high scoring and gives ultra reward to a player who dominates the game.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Taylor put up 87 points for his team.
Yeah, like I said, 51.9 in the Yahoo Fantasy League.
Yeah, because 58 in my more traditional fantasy league. But yes, in this league, 87 points. And what was the biggest game of the week in the league as well? So that game is still yet to be decided, but it's looking like he's going to be the difference maker.
Sure. Packers lost again, by the way, which is a big deal. The Vikings, you know what? Give Kirk Cousins credit. 341 yards, three touchdowns there. Dalvin Cook with 86 yards and a catch. So from a rushing standpoint, or 86 yards and a touchdown. Surprisingly, like I said, I give the Vikings a lot of credit there. They're staying in that division. But if you're a Packer right now, if you're a Packer fan, I think it's time to start worrying a little bit.
Kirk Cousins may actually be the most maligned quarterback in the NFL.
You and the need to clarify the line. By the way, I'm going to deliberately throw that, use that word incorrectly. So just to be able to drive you crazy, just to pet peeve you, I'm going to deliberately say say it incorrectly.
But back to Kirk Cousins. This is a guy who has never. Okay, granted, he's never won a Super Bowl. He may never win a Super Bowl, but he is. I think the numbers bear it out. He is an NFL quarterback, a guy you can build a team around, and people just like to smash him like he's horrific, like he is Peterman. No, the guy goes. He has some good games. He has some bad games. Yes. I would like him to be more consistent more often so I could win every game, but
it's got that Matt Ryan thing.
Got that Viking. What?
I got that Matt Ryan thing kind of happening there a little bit.
Yeah. He's got the Vikings at 5-5. Mm-hmm. Again, I think 500 is where you really need to be to kind of make me think you're going to have a shot at the wild card. I know you did mention the Eagles and I mentioned the Washington football team, but still, I really feel like after 10 games this year, looking at things, you need to be 5-5, and because that's where the 3 wild card teams are. So yeah, can the 5 and 6 teams or the 5 and 4 and 6 teams make it? Yes, but they look good when I see Minnesota play. They're the team that you are what your record says you are. Most applies to this year because they've lost so many last possession games. But that may also mean that now they're going to win some last possession games like they just did for the rest of the season.
Sure. Right now, Dallas has dropped down. There's still an 88% chance of winning the division, but I think with this, with the numbers that you had basically going into this game, it was like 94, 95%, right? Winning the division? Yeah. So, I mean, right now, Philadelphia is still a snowball's chance in hell, but the snowball just got a little bit bigger. Tampa's at 80%. Arizona's at 87%. But Green Bay, well, it's still at 92%. Because, again, it's going to be tough for Minnesota to overtake. But as far as home field, that's a question mark now. Because, again, that team has dropped down tremendously in the last couple of games. And it's a lot to be worried about if you're a Packer fan.
Yeah, and the Cardinals. Well, the good thing for the Packers is they've got the win over the Cardinals. So if they can catch the Cardinals, they can get the home field advantage. But I'm beginning to believe in the Cardinals, right? I believe that's the team I took when we made our midseason Super Bowl predictions. Cleveland, which I already feel stupid about, and then the Cardinals.
Well, listen, to be fair, I think all of us expected Cleveland to be a little bit better. Hutton and Harris's stuff, not for much. But I think a lot of us expected Cleveland to be a better team this year, and this would be the year that they were going to compete. But again, they're just so middling. It's a tough division. They're 6-5 and 6-5 and in last place. So that right there says something very odd. But their chance of actually getting the postseason is only 25% now, and that's even with the win. So there's a lot of question marks in Cleveland, and the future of Baker Mayfield. Can he get it done over there? Yes,
Baker Mayfield's like that deodorant, like the Eau de Parfum in Anchorman. If he was only 75%, 100% of the time.
Well, I was going to say, Eau de Parfum or Sex Panther.
What was that?
Or Sex Panther.
Yes, that's what it was, Sex Panther. Ooh, who's he throwing to? Nobody.
He's throwing to the ground, ultimately. Yeah, so right now, I mean, if you're looking at Roethlisberger's numbers, he's 4 for 8 for 28 yards. And then on the rushing side, only 24 yards. So they're off to a pretty slow start themselves this way. And it would probably be the last play of the quarter here with 13 seconds left and the 39-yard line. But Roethlisberger, I think, is a slow starter anyway. He's usually better as the game goes on. But that's not what you want to see anyway.
No, I mean,
pass is good for a first down and then a little more. So,
all right, well, you're ahead of me on that deep pass. I'm happy he overthrew it. Mm-hmm. I will say that. I've been watching quarterbacks who underthrew that all day, and then they get intercepted when they're throwing into double coverage like that. So that's good. But you brought up something interesting with the Browns. Something I'd like to dial back and get to is,
please.
The Browns are in last place in the AFC North at 6-5. The beginning of the year, the NFC West was the best division. Mm-hmm. And that's turning out not to be true. The Seahawks are not a good team. They may beat some people at the end of the year because they have a good quarterback, but they're not a good team. San Francisco is not showing to be a good team. They still have an outside shot at the playoffs, but definitely not looking like a good team. And then you have two great teams in LA, maybe, and Arizona. The AFC West then got off to that early start, and then everyone there, they're the best division. They're still good. No teams with a losing record. But it's this AFC North where every team has a winning record. And it should be noted that that's the division that's doing it. And we're 11 games in. So,
yeah, I mean, in this particular case, you're looking at arguably the most balanced division of all of them, maybe save for the AFC West here. But to their credit, Cleveland is still a game and a half out of first right now. And despite the fact that they're in last place. Yeah. But they have to bounce over so many teams, including in this case Pittsburgh, to get there. It's still Baltimore's division to lose right there, but they are far from a lock. Now, what I found very interesting, and I have a question for you on something else in a minute. New England right now has taken off. They've won 5 straight, and they're 7-4, good enough for first place in the NFC East. I'm sorry, AFC East. Correction, AFC East. Despite the fact that they're a half a game in first, they are not the favorite to win the division. Right now, Buffalo still sits at 64% to win the division, and New England is only sitting at 35%. I find that interesting.
The next 4 games for the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can look up the Bills for me, or I'll go back and look at the Bills afterwards.
I'll pull the Bills up in the meantime.
This is probably why they have a lower chance. Titans, Bills, Colts, Bills. So even if they
go ahead.
Yeah, they have 2 super contenders, and then the Bills. That's a tough run. Now they beat the Bills twice, then they probably win the division and finish up with 2 easy wins against the Jags and the Dolphins, even if they lose to the Titans and the Patriots, Titans and the Colts. But if they split with the Bills and split those other 2 games, I don't know what the Bills have coming up. But obviously the last game is against the Jets, so that's 1 win.
Well, here's where it gets in, on the other side of the fence. When it comes to what Buffalo has, pull that back up again. They're in New Orleans. Then they have the Patriots, like we mentioned. Then they're in Tampa. Then they play at home against Carolina, probably a winnable game. And then they play in New England again. So they got New England twice, the 2 games there. But they also have to go face off in New Orleans and also in Tampa. So they've got no picnic of their own there.
You didn't see New Orleans today.
True, but don't count that team out. I mean, I know it was a bad game. I know
it was, and how do I say this? So
politely, you're trying to be polite about this.
No, not polite. I mean, I think what separates like the quarterbacks as you go up the ladder is the better quarterbacks play at their best more often.
Mm-hmm. True.
There's a reason Trevor Siemian has been a backup, and it's that he doesn't play at his best often enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's the same conversation we're having with Mayfield. Now, for me, Mayfield at his best is so good. It's like Winston. It's tantalizingly good. Different types of good, but it's tantalizingly good. So people keep going, okay, maybe. Siemian has to play at his best, which is good enough to be in the NFL. The rest of the team has to hold up its own, and then the Bills can't do their thing. Now the Bills have lost 2 stinkers, so the Bills can lose to anybody.
But again,
that's, I think why they have a better chance. Just analytically, probably looking at the numbers, the way that rolls out,
which could be, but just the way that team has turned around after a sluggish 2-4 start to win 5 straight. Like I said, that's a huge part of this. I mean, Siemian did not have a terrible game. 22 for 40, yes, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Not a great game by any stretch, but not actually like a brutally abysmal game. I would not go that far.
The Eagles defense went to sleep, and that's how he got those 2 touchdowns.
True, but it's one of those things. I mean, the Eagles are not a great team either.
No,
but this was also their first home win of the year as well,
which was amazing.
And also, in fairness, though, I will add to this: Philadelphia. I mean, a lot of those points for New Orleans was kind of garbage points anyway. By the end of the third quarter, they were up 33-7. So you could throw some garbage points into the mix. So Siemian didn't have like I said, a terrible game. I mean, not great, but like you said, he's not the starter.
Right.
Jalen Hurts, though, I mean, 13 for 24, 147 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. That's kind of, it was a very heavy game for them. And that
look at his rushing yards.
69 yards and 3 TDs.
Yep. Would you believe 3 TDs? This is a team that had Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick, first quarterback on the Eagles to ever rush for 3 touchdowns.
Really?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, what we called a running quarterback back in the day is not the same kind of running quarterback we have now.
Agreed.
You had, Donovan McNabb, trying to think who else, Warren Moon, I think, was a scrambler a little bit too. A lot of these guys were not the big rushers. They by today's standards, they would not be considering a running quarterback. I don't think.
Yeah, I was thinking of Cunningham, but still the big difference is that even for non-running quarterbacks, they will call a quarterback draw on first or second and goal from the 7, right? Like if just the guy has some athleticism, they'll try it. Where when they had Cunningham with the Eagles, that wasn't something that was going to happen, right? Like if he were to get in, it would be because he ran 60 yards, not because he ran 7. So that is truly a big difference in what you're saying.
Yeah,
exactly how Zerk put it.
What do you say here? So, running, that's basically what it is. And much more of a passing league. Which, speaking of passing, Ben Roethlisberger is in the shotgun at 3rd down and 2, and tosses it, and that might be pass interference. And it is not called. No, I wasn't sure about that. But it brings up the favorite conversation of you and I. Fourth down. It's fourth down and about 1, maybe 2 yards. Does Pittsburgh go for it? Should Pittsburgh go for it?
This is the one place where it's still early in the game. I'm going to grab the 3.
All right. I would say the opposite. Go for it. And they are going to go for it. Yes.
We'll see what the decision bot says afterwards.
Yeah, I was going to say they're going for they're on the shotgun. Maybe they're just going to try and get him to jump.
I don't hate it. Getting him to jump isn't going to do anything. You're not going to get a first down.
And that was what the fuck was that? Let's just call that what it is. What the fuck was that? Okay, you're on the 4th and 2. Let's recap this class. 4th and 2, at the opponent's 2-yard line. And you decide to pass the ball pretty much right to the line of scrimmage in full traffic and expect to somehow score a touchdown out of that.
I think that was the classic tight end shovel pass, and he threw it overhand.
No,
but it was sniffed out.
More than don't agree with that call. Now, in this case, you had the bot thingy.
Yeah, so the bot's not going to tell us about the call. It's going to tell us what was the best choice to go for it, kick the field goal, or punt. This is at the 18. This is an older one, not up to date. Yeah, it's 28 minutes ago. We'll get it before the commercial's up, I'm sure.
No, I did have a question I haven't addressed with you yet, so I'm curious when you get a chance.
Sure.
I'm going to put this down below. Since we talked about Seattle before, obviously they're in last place right now at 3-7. If Seattle misses the playoffs, and I mean misses it bad, is Pete Carroll out of a job?
I don't know if Pete Carroll's out of the job, but I can tell you, I feel like this is Pete Carroll's mess.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that I would take Pete Carroll. It's time to go. Because I just feel like it's Pete Carroll's mess.
Mm-hmm. I got to wonder. I mean, I would say no, not yet, but he's got one more year to fix it.
And that's yes. And I think that is the sensible maneuver, by the way, even though I'm just like, this really just feels like Pete Carroll, because I feel like it's some sort of holdover from the offseason of there being unhappiness there with their quarterback. That's so like, and I guess the reason I think he's really gone is I have my inclination from what I'm reading, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm getting off of Mina Kimes' feed. And I think, she's, probably the biggest national voice as a Seattle fan and a hell of a football person. If you ever, for anyone, she knows her shit. I just sense from her more than anything else that it's probably time.
Fair.
By the way, the bot suggested going for it. It increased your winning percentage by 3.4 points. Chances of winning. Had they made the field goal and succeeded, their chances of winning the game would not have changed at all. Mm-hmm. Having failed to complete it, their chances of winning have fallen about 4%.
Okay.
So, had they succeeded, though, their chances of winning jumped up to 41%. It was so – I can see why the bot was very much for it. Like you went from a 25 – basically, you're in the 20% range, and you were going up to the 40% range. Had you gotten the touchdown. So, all right. Okay. I guess so the data analytics says that was a good call.
Well, I mean, when you look at Seattle the last few years, you understand why they're getting tired. They had the Super Bowl win in 2013, but have not been back to a division conference title since. And they missed the playoffs once, possibly the second time in a row. So, they had won the Super Bowl, lost the Super Bowl, and then it's been pretty soft up there in Seattle ever since. So you got to assume that basically the fans up there are getting tired and burned out. And I can't blame them entirely.
And let's not forget, for better or for worse, right or wrong, Pete Carroll was blamed for that second Super Bowl loss, not the quarterback who threw the interception.
No, it was the decision to throw the ball and it was the interception.
Yes. So,
That was
so he's already sort of, like he had his first big blunder. He had his Dan Quinn moment, if you will. And now he's had a few other blunders. So, and an unhappy quarterback. And,
Yeah, I mean it's questionable in this case what's going to happen up there. My question to you is, if he becomes available, would you want him in Philadelphia?
No. I would not want him in Philadelphia because not this year. If you told me he was going to be available the following year, and I've seen what this guy's done here for 2 years, sure. But at this point, Philly has a 2-year coach.
Okay.
And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Philly has a lot of draft capital, good draft capital, in a draft that is going to give you defensive line and offensive line, not a quarterback. So go ahead and see what you can get. See what he can do with Hurts again, unless one of the bigger quarterbacks becomes available and is worth trading for. And if he succeeds, great. If he fails, bring in a new coach with a new quarterback.
And to take it a step further, since we're talking about all this, Russell Wilson, who becomes available, okay, you've already said no to that. And Justin Herbert has taken off. Nice little slide, but a great pickup on 3rd and 6 for about 15, maybe 18 yards on that. Nice little pickup there. What team could basically pick him up? If he became available, I would say the Giants should go for him. Will they? Probably not. That is not their MO to be able to be like, let's go there. But Russell Wilson, he has a lot of energy left in the tank. I think we talked last show about the possibility of him and Aaron Rodgers literally flip-flopping and go to the other team. That's bizarre as hell, but plausible. Or some kind of a weird thing where between them and Roethlisberger, where they all switch and go to a different team. Again, even weirder in this case, I think, in general.
So here's who wouldn't. I think it's easier to tell you, presuming that Rodgers doesn't move, and presuming that Seattle doesn't move, that Wilson doesn't move. Here are the teams who would not take Rodgers or Wilson, meaning that those two guys aren't going to swap teams, right? Other than that, let's see. Tampa probably wouldn't take one of those guys, but then again, maybe they would.
Mm-hmm. I don't think
Dallas,
Tampa would. No.
Probably won't. Arizona, Cincinnati will probably keep going with Burrow. And I think the Chargers will keep going here with Herbert. But I'm not really sure that anyone else has really proven to me that they're worth playing. Oh, and Patty Mahomes, of course.
Oh, yeah. They invested $500 million in that guy.
It's basically whoever you think are the top 5 quarterbacks, and then those two guys, right? I mean, unless you think your team is a top 5 quarterback, then I would not discourage your team to go for trying to get one of those two dudes. Yeah. And I think I named the guys who are the top. Oh, and Lamar.
Oh yeah. And Herbert, the way he's running right now, him too.
Yeah, he was the guy I said. There's 3 young quarterbacks: Herbert, Burrow, and Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, heck, if I'm Jaguars, I'm taking him. I'm like, that's nice. Lawrence, you were a first-round pick, but you didn't look like what we've seen out first-round picks this year. Next,
would he want to go there though? Yeah,
well, that's a whole another argument.
Maybe I was going to say maybe Carolina. Who knows what's going on over there? Maybe New Orleans as well.
I think
what's that?
If I'm a quarterback, I want to go to New Orleans. I would want to work with Peyton.
Yeah.
No questions about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see him going to San Francisco. I think that's too far out. I don't think he'd stay in division there. The Bears, maybe. Like I said, the Giants, I would absolutely take a run at that guy. Absolutely. I mean, Russell Wilson, he gives an energy to that team. I mean, this is going to sound really weird, but I would see some degree of similarity between Russell Wilson and when they got Kurt Warner. Where it's like, okay, you got a guy who's established there. So,
yeah.
Okay. Eagles make the playoffs. They could. Right now with the expanded playoff system and 7 playoff, teams in each division, or I'm sorry, each conference, it's possible. 8 wins and 9 can do it. But yeah, I'd love to see Russell Wilson in New York because again, it would give that punch and that level of hope this team has not had in a while. And boom.
Yeah, I don't know that they're gonna make the play. I don't know who's going to make the playoffs with 8 wins. If one of the teams in the NFC will, right, we're going to assume that the loser of the AFC West makes the playoffs as the number 1 wild card. Is 8 wins going to be enough? I mean, we got 3 teams two of the teams that are 5-5 right now.
So you're looking at 3 right now. Looking at the breakdown, presumably the Rams or the Cardinals will get in, one of the two. So you got that there. Then you have New Orleans and Minnesota right now, if the season ended today, at 5-5 getting in. So technically, Philadelphia is only a half a game out of a playoff spot at 5-6. So you know what? Yeah, it's possible.
They're a half game out of the playoff spot, but so it's not that I don't know that they can't make the playoffs at.
Oh, I'm sorry, San Francisco. 49ers too. 5-5.
At 9. The question is, will they make it at 8-9 versus 9-8? And that's what I don't know. I think they can make it at 9-8.
You know what? We've had teams with losing records get in the playoffs before. So I'm going on that part.
Those teams, I believe you can double check it. Every team that's ever made the playoffs with a losing record was a division winner, not a wild card.
But again, like I said, you're adding an extra playoff team, an extra wild card, or an extra wild card team. So you got that advantage there where you have 7 teams that are getting in. So in the past, there have been teams with losing records that would have gotten in under this format.
Are there?
Yeah.
Okay.
In this I'd have to look it up directly. But yeah, there were some teams in there that, 8-8 and 7-9 that would have made it. And
we're both, neither of us is talking and we're both typing.
Yeah.
Not good at all. And yes, I like Russ at the Texans, except I don't know that Russ would like to go to a place that's been labeled dysfunctional and racist.
That's true. I forgot about the second part. As far as this goes. But yeah, I don't think that's too much disarray for a 32-year-old quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback.
But that's a big question though about everyone is if and his name's totally flipped out of my mind right now. Apologies. The offensive coordinator for Kansas City goes somewhere. Is that an extra attraction to Russ and or Aaron Rodgers? Guys who are going to be looking for somebody as their coach that can get things done. Because I don't think he's going to go to a team that, is horrible. He's probably going to go to a team like, I don't know, that dumps their coach. Like I feel like he's going to end up at the Bears. Something like that.
Like I said, a team that has the potentiality of getting to the playoffs and making something happen.
Right.
A team that is years and years away. No. The only reason I'm saying that with the Giants is I don't think they're that far off. And I'm saying this as a cynical Giants fan. I think that they have the potentiality of being able to get back into the playoffs. They just need that little added push to get over the top. And they're going to get their asses handed to them tomorrow. I'm just more than confident on that. But that notwithstanding, for the most part, that defense is solid. They have enough tools there that with a couple of tweaks, also Wilson, why not? You got something there, but who knows what's going to happen? Good return, by the way, all the way to about the 40-yard line. 3.5 minutes remaining, but Pittsburgh's got to make something happen here, being down 14-3. By the way, one of the things I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm going to install an auto reloader on this, so I don't have to sit there and always alt tab back to the NFL website, so it has to it updates itself. I think I might do something like that and see what I can do with that tomorrow. But right now, Russell the Texans, I don't necessarily see that. He's 32 years old. He'd want to go to a team that has the, like I said, can get back into the playoffs because he's not a spring chicken anymore. 32 is not old, but 32 is not young either.
Oh, it's
the Saints, like I said, is possible. I think working with Sean Payton could work as well. Hell, I would even consider maybe Atlanta. Maybe.
Well, that's if Ridley comes back. If Ridley comes back, then you have some nice offensive weapons, including Pitts.
By the way, I want to point something out here that the Falcons currently basically at 4-6 have the third worst differential as far as points go. They are short 110 points so far, and they're 4-6. But you got teams that are way worse that are actually better. I mean, the Giants are 3-6, but only have a 37 point differential. So they've lost a lot of close games all the way through. So that tells me, again, you got a team that just needs a couple of little tweaks just to be able to get themselves over the top and get themselves back to credibility.
Absolutely.
Steelers, yeah, we talked about that. That one's possible as well. Big Ben, maybe it's time for him to hang it up. I don't know. I almost wonder if maybe he would play 1 year and then sign a one-day contract with the Steelers. I don't know. I mean, it's if this is the end of his career this way, it's kind of disappointing. But I don't know how much gas he's got left in that tank. Especially, great catch. Great catch. I was just about to say that basically that was going to be a bad pass, but it was a phenomenal catch on what may be pass interference.
I think that the Steelers are going to be a prime option for the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because it's just there's so many offensive weapons. There's a strong defense, and there is a coach that has credibility.
Yes. I don't know necessarily how good Russell Wilson will look in Pittsburgh yellow and red, or yellow and black. Sorry, I've been up since 5. Yellow and black. I'm not sure how well aesthetically he'd look in that uniform, but right now 227 and counting. So Roethlisberger is starting to make some stuff happen here.
To go back to the 8-9 team getting into the playoffs as a wild card. So I ran back and I looked through 2016 very quickly. There was not a single year where the 3 best records in either division that were not in either conference that were not division winners was under 500. However, there were several years where their third best team was 8-8, which means that now that team could lose their next game, go 8-9. So the 8-9 team making the playoffs as a wild card, from what I just looked at, seems legit.
Plausible, yeah.
Plausible. And to the point where I would even go expected. Like there was at least 2 years where the worst team was 8-8, which means if they went and lost the game to whoever was behind them, that both those teams would have been 8-8, right? So that would have been 8-9. Mm-hmm. The 7-9 team beats them. Now they're both 8-9. So I think we're going to see it pretty consistently in the wild card spot.
Yeah, I'm looking at 2010 now. 2010 the Giants would have made the playoffs. The Deshaun Jackson punt return, miracle of the Meadowlands too.
Yeah, that was.
And I would say in 2011, 8-8 team would have made it with the Bears, right, or the Cardinals, depending. By the way, I want to point out, actually, just 2 days ago, I think it was the anniversary of the Miracle of the Meadowlands #1, when Herm, you played to win the game. Edwards had the fumble return in the last game, game of the play of the game, and the Giants lost because the Giants got to do what they got to do. All right. Yeah, Steelers basically would have made it at 8-8 in 2012. You said you went to what, 2016?
2015, 2016 season.
2015. Okay. 8-8 in that case. Nope. I sworn I saw that before. That's like a quest for me. 9-7, 10-6. No. Yeah, I'll find it. God help me, I will find it. A lot of 8-8s in here, though. I got to give it that.
Yeah, so maybe
9-7.
yeah,
9-7.
yeah, Zerkology. I totally agree, but especially in this season, though, looking at the NFC, like the Eagles, the 49ers, the Vikings, the Saints, and the Panthers are probably the teams that we're looking at, and I can conceivably see one of them having only 8 wins and being 8-9 and making the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Or the Cowboys if they completely collapse.
I don't think they'll completely collapse, but I think they're still going to win that division. But it may not be as close as a lot of people thought it was going to be, including myself a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, the Eagles have won 2 in a row, so.
Yeah, like I said, I'm seeing a ton of 8-8 teams that would have gotten in. But I'm really disappointed by this. I really thought I had it.
And the Eagles' schedule is not so intimidating. 2 Giants, 2 football teams, the Jets and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I was going to say you got mostly winnable games there.
I believe the Cowboys have one really tough game and then some. They got the Raiders, who are beginning to look like a team whose coach left midseason, whose number 1 wide receiver is no longer playing.
Despite all the chaos that exists in that team right now.
Yes, the chaos is coming through. Then the Saints, which I'm not convinced are a good team. We'll see.
They're middling. I mean, they're 5-5 record right now. I think it's 5-5. That's about what you. It's going to probably be running that way pretty much the rest of the season. Maybe 10 wins overall.
And then you got 2 football teams: the Giants and Eagles, and the Cardinals. So the Cowboys. Let's count the Cowboys' loss having a loss to the Cardinals, and then let's say the Eagles go ahead and beat them in the game that matters at the end of the season. So the Eagles would need to run every game off in that scenario.
Roethlisberger throwing deep, and is that a catch? I believe it's a catch. Yes, it is. That's the kind of stuff they want to do. So, by the way, I want to give a shout out. They'll say, yeah, Roethlisberger, we're basically making it 14-9 right now, so kudos to that. I do want to point out something. The Cleveland baseball team is now officially the Guardians. They had their name unveiling on Friday, and the sign at the team shop promptly fell down and broke. Just like that. So
they're getting ready for Major League 5.
Basically, was there a fourth one?
I don't believe so. I think I skipped a number on purpose.
Okay, they're just going to jump over the top.
Yes, because they went down to the minor leagues. Then they were going to do one for and now we're just because that's like something that somebody needs to do. So people are constantly going, well, wait a second.
So kind of like basically a Naked Gun 2.5, 33 1/3 sort of thing.
Right. But in those cases, you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. In this case, embarrassment that it is. You have this brand new announcement, and then that's what happens to your sign. Whoops. I gotta say though, I like the Guardians. I like the name. I like the logo. I like everything about it.
I thought they did as good of a job as you can do, knowing that there's going to be pushback and everything that's going to happen. And they picked a symbol that to the people of the city matters to them. I would imagine in some way, people in the city know what it is, but the term Guardians is something that everyone else can get behind, and even if they're not in the city, because people know what a Guardian is. Plays a little bit on Guardians of the Galaxy that we have as a popular thing right now. So there's a lot. I think it was a well done name. Roller derby team aside.
Well, yeah, I mean they just work around that in this particular case, but yeah, like I said, I got respect for the for the logo itself, for the style. I think it's very sleek. You know what it feels like to me? It feels very New Jersey Jackals as I think about it. And we're going to get into something when it comes to jerseys in a second. But like I said, I like that. It just looks sleek. It reminds me of the Indians, say Indians in this case, the Indians logo, but just modernized a little bit with a new name.
No, and yes, they held up. I mean, that was the great thing about keeping the Ians, right? Guardians, Indians.
Yeah.
You get to keep that. You're like, do we have to change text? No.
Great
keep
point.
the same font. You don't have to change half of each sign.
Actually, a really good point there. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to mention something. Let's see if I can find it here. We're talking about my beloved New Jersey Devils, which, by the way, massive amounts of respect. They came from behind yesterday, 4 goals, 2 goals down, scored 4 unanswered goals in the third period, and ended up actually beating the 2-time defending champions by a score of 5-3 on the road. So respect there. Their new uniform has been leaked. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this because, again, this is the team I have been following for literally 40 years at this point, much longer than basically most people have been alive, I think, at this point. This is the uniform that has apparently been leaked as their black jersey. I welcome your thoughts.
That's a joke. Well, first of all, it's not a jersey, it's a sweater, but now it is a jersey. So I don't know. That can't be real.
It's apparently it's been leaked that's what the jersey looks like, and it's making waves through Twitter right now. So it remains to be seen if that is going to be the black jersey. But oh my God,
what's even that font?
Huh.
That's weird. That just is weird. It would be, what it should say, sweater. We're the New Jersey Devils, but we wrote jersey. And we're like, wait, this is a sweater.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this thing right now and thinking I've been a fan of this team for 40 years, and I see something like that. I look at that and thinking, the hell is that, man? They had a black jersey that they were looking to possibly use too. And honestly, that black jersey was sleek as hell. Let's see if I can find it. It's a small image, but I'm just going to post it up here to save time. That one right there.
You know what? This is what I'm going to say. And this is what I thought. And now seeing this, I'm more sure of it. The biggest issue with the leaked image is that it is not a good, strong black. It's a light black, almost gray. And I wonder if what was leaked was a prototype or a bad picture or something to that effect. And if it's when they actually release it, it will look like that, but really with a striking black on white look with the funny jersey written across the middle.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, there's certain teams out there that have the name across the jersey like so. But if that is it, please, for the love of God, don't be it. That's all I got to say.
And I'm looking at, and it was outlined in red. The word jersey was outlined in red.
Hang on a sec. There it is right there. Yeah, white and red. Yeah, it feels very, I don't know.
I really feel like
you pick up in like a CVS as a tourist.
So when I look at it, right, I really wonder if the worst part of it is that the white is not popping enough. I'm not a big jersey guy. We always talk about the uniforms. I like to talk about what they wear after the games. The rest of you guys are talking about what they wear during the games. But I think that the problem is the black is not sharp enough. The red outlines of the word jersey isn't popping when it might in person. I don't know. I just think it's funny that it says jersey. That's the problem is the word jersey to me. Like it just says jersey on it. And I love New Jersey.
I'm wearing a shirt that says shirt.
Right, exactly. I'm a proud New Jerseyite, but this is a jersey.
Yeah, and it's like, and here's the thing: for those of us here, we kind of, at least we're guilty of saying it, granted, but a lot of us don't really like calling it jersey because it's kind of got this weird, like, this name association with it. it's New Jersey. It's not, you're from Jersey. You all talk like this. And maybe it's a person. You talk about pet peeves. It's a little bit of my own pet peeve growing up in New Jersey, where people are like, "Well, you don't sound like you're from New Jersey. What the hell am I supposed to sound like?" Well, I don't know, Italian. yeah, Jersey. Dude, I have had people in New York tell me that there's no way possible I could be from New Jersey because I'm not Italian. And it's like, dude, really? It's the third. It's actually the third highest Italian. It's the third highest percentage of Italians on the East Coast. Connecticut and Rhode Island are actually higher, but because of Jersey Shore, that crap, and then Sopranos and even like Boardwalk Empire. You think everybody here talks from Jersey. We got this. Hey, how you doing? Hey, yeah, you, and sometimes why,
Well, of course, the funny thing is now I move over to from North Jersey to the Philly area where they don't got Jersey and they got water. They drink the water. And from the
you're going to Reading Terminal Market.
Yeah, I can't even speak the accent right, and it's a whole different world. And everyone's, it's a whole different John because we think we're from Philly, as opposed to North Jersey people who think they're from New York. And it's I'll go to take someone from my area to New York, and they'll be like, "You're definitely not from New Jersey. That's not even plausible. I don't even think that is part of New Jersey where you're from. 90 miles away, you can't be from New Jersey. That's too far."
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say basically you've got Northern Jersey, Central Jersey, and then for those of us up north, South Jersey, which starts like Brick, Tom's River, like 91 or we'll say 82 on the Parkway, which by the way, if you don't understand what that is, everybody has a mile marker. So we know immediately how far apart we are. So I'm at 157 on the Parkway. If someone's at 137, we know immediately we're 20 miles apart. The rest of the country, even though some of the world makes fun of what exit you are on the Parkway, that way we know immediately how far apart we are from each other. It's kind of a very simple system.
So a couple things on that. Number one, a lot of the rest of the interstate highways are moving to mile marker for exits. This way you can add an exit without having to change exit numbers. That's been coming for a while. But there was something else you said that I wanted to. You're one of the Jerseyites who believe in a Central Jersey.
Yes, I do.
As do I. I would say I actually believe that there is four parts to our tiny little state.
Are you talking the redneck part or west?
No. There's a North Jersey, and that includes your redneck part out west up there. There's a Central Jersey. To me, that runs from New Brunswick to Trenton. And then
I'll give it that.
Then there's a South Jersey. Except over on the east coast of New Jersey, you got the shore. That's its own part of Jersey, the shore.
Yeah.
So I got four parts of New Jersey.
Okay, sold. Now me personally, Central Jersey starts in Brick or starts in Westfield. So 135. As soon as like the Wawa start to become prevalent, that's my take. But yeah, a lot of people in that arena would disagree with me, and I get it. But anyway, that's your lesson today on the state of New Jersey.
Yeah,
we're the third state in the union that joined the union, third or fourth thing. I forget that.
If nobody comments, we're going to let this Jersey thing go because I could go on about two Jerseyites talking about Jersey. We could go on and argue our little state for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We won't stop.
New Jersey, where our state motto is, we don't suck, really.
No,
we're kind of okay. Yeah. So anyway, this is a football game going on that actually does not involve New Jersey. We have been mildly chastised by the standpoint of the fact that we spend too much time talking about what's local to this area. So two New Jersey people spending about 10 minutes of a show talking about our home state probably didn't help that number a little bit. Apologies. But anyway, to come back to this particular point, makes it hard to make that record with, because some divisions have one good team and some have three. We talked about that with the AFC, with the AFC Central. So the AFC Central. Yeah, I was going to say
I think in the AFC, if you told me the team's going to get in with 8 wins, I will laugh my tuchus off at you.
Your bum.
I will laugh at you. I will laugh in your general direction. No, it's going to take I'm pretty sure it's going to take 10 wins to get in from the AFC, just because of what's happening in some of those divisions.
Good pass, Herbert to the 20. Yeah, Now the 20 to the 15 and out of bounds. Chargers have one timeout remaining, 21 seconds, and they're driving, which is huge right now. I believe
There's another
they get.
18-yarder.
I also believe that the Chargers get the ball in the second half. This is something I need to take notes on because every time I always ask about this, who gets the ball in the second half? You'd think I'd know by now. So.
I can tell you.
Yeah, probably good.
Hopkins kicks to the Chargers 35-yard end zone. Harris goes with the first play.
Right, so
the
the Chargers had the ball first. So
Chargers have the ball first.
So San Diego Chargers, and that ball's overthrown.
They're not the San Diego Chargers.
It will always be to me the San Diego Chargers. 55 years on that.
I think we've had this conversation. Some teams will change, will move, and the Ravens were so smart to change the name. Like they think they were stupid to give up all that history, but they weren't. Because now they are the Baltimore Ravens, and I know who they are. I never call them the Baltimore Browns or the Cleveland. No, they're the Baltimore Ravens, and never from the moment, boom, new team. Oh, it's easy.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way, like you said, to develop their own identity. But to be a fan, that's like I said, that's got to be weird. We've never had that in this area where a team is pretty much just up and rooted out.
Not in our lifetimes.
No. But okay, again, our parents' lifetime, obviously they dealt with, the Dodgers and the Giants, for example.
My father only curses out one man.
And who would that be, by the way?
That damn Walter O'Malley.
Yeah. But it's like I said, that's got to be tough that way. But you see teams, like I said, San Diego took it really hard. And in this case, they only moved 3 hours north. So it was still very, very watchable. It's not like the team moved all the way across country.
I have a friend who is a San Diego Charger fan who lives in Texas. So he moved. He moved from the Northeast to San Diego, and just when he was there, he loved it there and fell in love with. I don't think he was a football fan before. I think that was one of the things that, when he planted his roots and he was going to live there, became an identifying factor for him. I'm not sure that he followed them to LA. This is a guy who lived in Texas, and I don't think he followed them to LA. So I will.
I remember reading an article years ago that said LA was the biggest sports town in the country. And I'm like, no, not LA. I doubt that. Yeah. Memphis, that's the biggest one right by far, But I was really surprised by that. I think it might have been one of those things where the article was just written just to piss people off. By the way, we were about ready to. What's that?
Did you say Memphis?
Oh, I was joking, dude. Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, they got a AAA baseball team over there for the Cardinals, I think.
They might. Yes, hey, good call, Octavio. Good eyes. Good eyes, Octavio.
Yes. We're in the Shane Falco jersey with pride, man. So I've been wanting this thing for a while, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to get it. So, yeah, I kind of dig this thing. I don't look too bad at it either.
Octavio reminds me that you can actually watch us on many different Facebook streams, both my personal Facebook stream and my Facebook stream for my old show, Me, My Scotch, and I know Scott's posted some Facebook streams, including Stream Punk Sports, but it's always best if you can watch us here on Twitch because you can keep track of the entire conversation as it goes on in the comment section. And we always encourage you to comment, leave your ideas, help direct our conversation. That's what I thought actually just happened when you mentioned Memphis, is that somebody on Facebook had said Memphis. And I thought, oh, no, not Memphis.
And I'm walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 3 feet off of me.
Memphis has a football team.
Well, USFL.
The Titans play out of Memphis.
Okay, that's fair. No, I was going to say the USFL. Bollocks! I can't remember the name of the team. The Jet. I will be so. Oh yeah, the Memphis Showboats. That was the team. I gotta say, I'm really, really interested to see the USFL come back. I loved that league when I was a kid. I loved Herschel Walker. They had Brian Sipe and eventually Doug Flutie, but a lot of good Hall of Fame players came out of the USFL, and it was a fun little 18 league. 18-game league, and then of course it died in '86.
Well, they took on a fight they weren't ready to take on.
Yeah, and they were doing well too, but
yeah,
I would have and that's going to do it for running the ball out. That's going to do it for the half, and decent return. It'll help with stats a little bit, but in the end, doesn't matter for what. So now here we are at halftime, and it is now 17-10. The Chargers. Pittsburgh's getting the ball back to start the second half.
No, Chargers are getting the ball.
Chargers, exactly like I said, the not Steelers are getting the ball back to start the second half. But yeah, the USFL, I'm really curious to see what happens there. They're going to be bringing back a lot of the different teams there, and I think a lot of us are going to wax nostalgic. The kids are not going to get it so much, but they're bringing back teams like I said. The LA, they've been talking about they've obtained the rights to the LA Express, Chicago Blitz, Tampa Bay Bandits, Houston Gamblers, and other ones too. And while the the Generals name is owned by the Spring League, it is plausible that the New Jersey Generals will come back. And that would make me very happy because, pause for 1 second, keep talking amongst yourselves. I will be right back.
Oh boy, Scott's going to go do something crazy now. Look at him running around his house. Yeah, I'm not as excited about this whole thing as Scott is. We'll try and watch it. We'll see what it does. But these other football leagues have not figured out a way to thrive since USFL thrived, however many years ago that was in our youth.
40 years.
The NFL kind of does its best to stomp these other leagues out. Oh, my goodness.
Remember when 7-Eleven used to give away stuff?
I remember 7-Eleven. I think that's a high point.
So, yeah, there was these 7-Eleven cups, and I have literally a half a dozen of these things still today. Because back in the day, they do giveaways where you spend X amount and they would give you something, or when gas stations would give you a mug if you filled up $20 worth of gas. So, yeah, to this day, down in the basement here, I literally have, and a couple of them are cracked, but a lot of these Generals cups are in really good shape. So,
they seem that way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this guy's one of them has a crack in it, so this guy's been beaten up a little bit here, but actually he's actually got a crack down the middle, so it's not going to work. But the other 5, they're perfectly workable, but yeah, I don't know how I ended up with them. I think my parents just held on to them, and I'm like, dude, I will pay money to get that from you guys. And they're like, don't be stupid, just take them.
Yeah, don't. We're not going to charge you for a plastic cup.
No, but it was so cool that basically my parents, for whatever reason, did not throw those things out.
You probably,
by the way,
they had good memories of you trying to collect them.
Well, you know what it is? They don't throw anything out. They're not worth any money either. I looked into it, if I was going to go on eBay or something like that. But, I mean, who wants a plastic 7-Eleven cup with a logo on it?
Of a team that nobody has any real memories of.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Herschel Walker came from that team.
Well, a lot of the guys went there because remember the thing about that league is they were willing to play their players.
Yeah.
So yeah, Herschel went there. Jim Kelly chose there. Steve Young chose there. I think
Reggie White was with that league too.
Okay.
He was with Memphis actually. Since we're talking about Memphis, I think he was with that team too. But yeah, a lot of players got their professional start, and then then moved to the NFL when things disbanded.
Right. Yes, they did not, and that's the note here. It wasn't like some other league where they practiced there, and then were able to go to the NFL. They made a choice to go there because they could get paid more than they could in the NFL. That was the league took that chance of actually paying those players, as opposed to some of our spring ball leagues where it's like, well, here you're going to go, and this is where you're going to try to prove that you're good enough to get to the NFL.
Yeah, Roger Ruzek, if you remember that name. For Philadelphia fans, he was the place kicker for the Generals before moving over to the Cowboys and then eventually the Eagles. Before finishing his career with the London Monarchs in 1996.
No, I don't remember him.
Okay, I do. Yeah, but yeah, the London Monarchs. I guess it's the World Football League. Yeah, NFL Europe. Yeah. What do we got here? Green Bay and Minnesota. We've already talked about that at this point. Kirk Cousins having a good game.
Cam Newton had a good game. Cam Newton
did.
They lost, but he showed that he can still Newton.
Cam's got a Cam.
That did not involve winning.
He's impressed so far since he came back. Like I said, it feels like just one of these weird breakups where you're with a long-term relationship, you guys break up, you date someone else for a little bit, it kind of, and then you're just like, I'm going to go back to them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done with them. Oh no, I'm not. But I think Aaron Rodgers losing, that was the biggest game I think of the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was, like I said, that was a game they should not have lost, but it looks really bad on the fact that they did.
Yeah.
But
Baltimore hangs on to win.
Yes, they do. 49ers do what they're supposed to do against the Jags and put that game away quickly.
Yes.
The Raiders are, like you said, are dropping down hard too.
Yeah, it's not surprising. It's just it was first of all surprising how good they started, and then they had all these things come to them. But Tennessee, Tennessee's like beating everybody good, but they cannot beat the teams they're supposed to beat.
Yeah, but that's not always the worst. I mean, I'm of the belief that that's not always the worst thing, because when the time comes from playoff time, if you raise your game against above 500 teams, it's going to help you then. Obviously, it hurts early on because you're not beating the ones that get you to that point. But in some ways, if I had to choose between being bad against below 500 or being bad against above 500, I would choose be bad against under 500.
So you'd rather have the Titans' horrible losses than the Cowboys' two really good losses against, let's face it, I think Kansas City is who we thought they were at the beginning of the season. I'm willing to go there. And Tampa Bay is also a great team.
Because you're still playing about half your games with teams against above 500.
Yeah. One of the things I look at when the playoffs start is I take all the playoff teams. I look at what were their records against each other. Like I think that I agree with you on that. And that's important when you're the team that's like 6-0 against playoff teams, and the other team is 2-1, 1-3 against playoff teams, but won all the rest of their games. Like, yeah, but against the teams that you're about to play at this level, you're not going to hold up. There is some definitive truth to that.
And again, you're playing for January. So that's a boost of confidence there to know that you're doing well against playoff bound teams.
Yes.
So, and by playoff bound teams, I mean like not Houston or the Jaguars, since we're talking about the AFC South anyway.
Right. Right.
But you know what? Credit to the where it's due. Texans did win today.
My goodness, look at the teams they've lost to, though. They've lost to the Jets, the Bears.
They lost to the Bears.
Texans.
Well, I know, but
I got to double check. I'm like, I know it was the Jets, right? And then I'm like, the Bears, 2, 4. Oh, 3. So 7 combined wins. They've won more games than the teams they've lost to combined. That is something. That is something.
But I mean, the Browns obviously with that impressive 13-10 win at home, against the Lions. You are what your record says you are, but to win by 3 over the Lions. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Lions getting better.
Or maybe. That's 3 more points over the Lions than the.
What a mess! I mean, okay, well, was that Trevor Boyle? Was quarterback for Detroit, 15 for 23 for 77 yards and 2 interceptions. Never mind, they were not playing better. Swift had a great game, 136 yards rushing, and the only TD they had. But Hawkinson was not bad for me, 51 yards and 6 catches.
Yeah, Hawkinson's having a good. They're a strange team because Swift having a nice season, Hawkinson's having a nice season, but the team itself is just not
good. Just call it what it
Right.
is.
Right. It's just not good. So is it just the quarterback? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's kind of it's a mess over there. It's like I said, it's disappointing to Detroit fans because Detroit is a good sports town. They are impassioned for the teams that they've got between there, the Tigers, the Pistons, the Red Wings, obviously being classic, one of the original six. But to see that team with so much history and just to bomb as badly as they do year in, year out, sucks to be in Detroit. And who do they got coming up? They're playing actually at home against the Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
That's a winnable game. Bears are 3-7, playing on the road against Detroit. Could be like a 3-3 tie. Detroit may actually be the only team that actually gets 2 ties and no wins this year.
How great would that be? How great would that be? 0-15 and 2.
0-15-2, yes. So it's like we didn't lose 2 games. But I remember one year, I think it was 1990 or so, the Bills had lost like 10 games in a row. And there was some talk about, are they going to go 0-16? When they finally had that one win, they had such a massive end zone celebration for finally being like, we won a game. I mean, it was like they freaking went to the Super Bowl. They didn't, it was just so proud of the fact they finally won a game and could finally have people stop talking about the streak.
It does. It's got to weigh down on the players.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I noticed it when covering NYCFC because they went 509 minutes without a goal, and it was their longest streak in their team's history. And it was shutout, like 4 shutouts in a row, and then they finally got a tying goal late in a game against Atlanta, who they beat today. And I asked the head coach, it's like, sometimes you need that kind of thing, that one goal to get you over the top. Do you think it's enough to get you over the top? And his response was literally, quote, God, I hope so. Because in this case, he doesn't have to talk about, being shut out again. He doesn't have to talk about the goal drought, and it was a mess. It sucked covering that team during that time because you watch this team, like I said, gets shut out 4 games in a row and go 509 minutes without a goal. It weighs on you heavy. So sure. when the Bills and obviously with the Lions, they got the tie, granted, but it's not a win. It's just a not loss.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree about that. It's not a win, it's a not loss. And that is also going to start to be going how many games until they get a win, but at least they're not going to go all defeated this year. I think that's, but
here's my take. I don't think they celebrated. I don't. That was a game they should have won. They missed a field goal in overtime that would have given them the win. And yes, while again they've walked away with a not loss, it's still one of those things where they're like, we know we should have won this game.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. But now, like you said, they get this other shot at the Bears, and they have a shot at the Falcons, and I don't know who the Seahawks are.
Yeah.
And come January 2nd, if the Seahawks are out of it, they already decided that, one of the things that quietly happened today was they put Chris Carson on end of the season IR, so he's not coming back. Maybe Russ is like, you know what? It's not worth the risking the finger. He hasn't been back. We thought he would be good. He came back too soon. He's going to go rehab the finger. And now you have a chance against the Seahawks too. So you got this game against Chicago. I don't think you beat the Vikings. Of course, the Vikings can lose to anybody. Same with the Broncos. If you have 2 inconsistent teams there, then the Cardinals eat you up. Then you might. The rest of their schedule is not imposing. It's the kind of thing where any NFL team can beat any other NFL team. We know that for a fact. So they may be playing better, and then they got some They have a cupcake in the Bears, although they're the world's biggest cupcake, and a couple of very inconsistent teams. 4 inconsistent teams. So it's really 2 games they're gonna lose to the Cardinals and the Packers. Do I think they're gonna win the other 5? No, but do I think they can win each of the other 5? Yes.
And taking it a step further in this particular case, Jared Goff is owed $15 million next year. He's got a restructure in the deal and everything like that, but he's going to be making bank next year, and then has the option to opt out in 2023. So he's got to play another year there, despite the fact he's only got 8 touchdowns so far.
Yeah. I mean, it's conceivable though that they draft a rookie and they see what they can do with him. Although,
supposedly Tim. I'm sorry, please. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's nothing that I've seen that suggests that the kid from Liberty is good enough for them to risk taking him over one of the defensive ends.
Well, I mean, Tim Boyle is expected to actually start again on Thursday. So I don't know if that means that Goff is out, or they're just going to try and work with the heir apparent and then just drop him. I mean, Kevin Boyle is 27 years old, so he's actually a little bit old for a starting.
Jared Goff was injured this week, so I'm assuming.
Okay, he was all right. Mm-hmm. But he's supposed to be, Boyle is going to be supposed to be starting next week. 6'4", 232. That's not a bad weight.
Oblique injury.
Okay.
He's also likely to miss the Thanksgiving game against the Bears.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, in this case, I would say.
No, it's not. This is not an heir apparent situation.
No, not in that case. No, granted.
This is remember they got him for 2 first rounders.
So the question, go ahead.
No, take this salary. We'll give you 2 first rounders. Okay.
I mean, if you look at his numbers when he was with the Raiders, the Rams. I mean, he wasn't terrible. QB ratings just over 100 a couple times, 86, 90, and then this year 84. So there's teams that I think could conceivably want to start him if they're willing to take a flyer and were desperate enough. But that contract is a bear of a contract, and he's owed some serious bank. So if he decides to opt out, he'd have to sign probably an incentive-laden deal. But I would say at 28 years old, he would still be able to produce for this league.
Yeah, I think that Jared Goff is not stupid enough to opt out.
No, not considering what he is owed, which I don't have it right in front of me. I just had it, but it was like $20-some million.
Yeah, he's
per year. So, by the way, we're sitting at 2nd 13. Chargers have the ball, 27-yard line, and ball is tipped and almost caught. Goff is owed $25 million next year, and then 26 a year after that. So if he opts out, he's walking away from $51 million.
Not doing that.
Yeah, not doing that. And then he could retire. Basically, that what year is that? 2025. He would retire. He'd be an unrestricted free agent at 31 years old. So he would be able to get a job if he wanted to. But that is one hell of a contract.
Yeah, so if you use that newfangled QBR as opposed to the quarterback rating, his highest ever was a 63.
Yeah.
And that's an easier scale to understand. It's 1 to 100.
I know, but I'm not a fan of it considering me old school. So I look at something like a QBR, and I think he's at 24 or something.
27. Yeah, no.
27.
But his last 2 seasons, he was at 84, 90, 86 working back. He's not a guy people are going to – I guess he had the 101.1 year. And then they said, "All right, we can – you guys to the Super Bowl. Let's sign him." Oops.
Yeah. Whoopsie. Yeah. But Herbert over the middle, good pickup. And yeah, they're moving quickly.
I'll take those Keenan Allen numbers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, right now Herbert
finds him again.
Yeah, so now they're actually inside the 30 on this drive, which is a great start. Yeah, Herbert's 18 for 22, 214 yards, and 1 touchdown.
No, he's looked exactly like what you want your quarterback to look like on the
Oh yeah, he's looking like a veteran quarterback right now. And he's what, 24, 25 maybe, not even.
He's in his second year. He could be 22 for all I know.
Probably he could be 22 or 23. They have right now this is only the 13th run play that they've had. and they've run the ball really well. So they're poised to take over this game and just start putting it away little by little.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If they get this, if they get this touchdown here, it's just I don't know. I can't. This game, I'm looking at the score, going, how is it this close?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel this close at all.
Yeah. By the way, he's 23. He turns 24 in March. Yeah. I mean, if you're a Charger fan, you got a reason to be excited. Phillip Rivers, sure. Dan Fouts, okay, fine. But that kind of pass, that kind of team, and that kind of touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And excuse me a minute.
Boy.
You know when you got a sneeze just sitting right there?
Yes.
Oh, God, it's killing me right now. And my system decided it's not going to sneeze. But yeah, see, that's if you got Justin Herbert on your fantasy team, be excited right now. You have the right to be.
Justin 230 yards in the air, another 40 with his legs. Keenan Allen already has 92 yards receiving. This is
yeah, so from a Yahoo league, it would be what, 8, 9, 13, 17, 21 and change right now. So nice.
Yeah.
Like I said, I am currently behind right now in my fantasy league going into tomorrow night with Daniel Jones and also Chris Godwin, and he's got Kenny Golladay. So anything Golladay gets will be offset by Daniel Jones.
Hello, Doug. How are you?
Aloha to yourself, son. How are you this fine? Well, if you're Hawaii, day.
I'm sure it's a fine day out there, right, Doug?
Yes.
Hopefully, as I told Octavio earlier, if you're watching us on Facebook, we love it. We appreciate it. If you're going to put some time in, come on over to Twitch, Stream Punk Sports. Go over there, subscribe there, and you'll know whenever we're live. And you'll be able to take part fully in the conversation that we have going on there. You can follow us there. If you're there now, of course, go ahead and leave us comments. We'll respond to you the way we just did to Doug and Octavio earlier.
Yeah. So, live it, love it. So, and always on Instagram too, because I usually have facts, random trivia, and things like that again can make you look like a sports badass. To basically use at the bar, to be able to use on Reddit, and just make yourself really look knowledgeable. I use it to fake it really well. So if it works for me, it probably works for you guys too.
I try not to fake it.
I do. You know, that's part of the reason why I'm so heavy with stats, because the numbers help me put everything together.
We'll catch that joke on the rebound. I try not to fake it.
I see what you did there. So we're not gonna touch that one. Hey, how about those Mets?
How about that Mets?
So right now, like we're putzing along. What is it, 10:05? We got another hour and a half probably at this point. Maybe this game seems to be running a little slow today. You know, as Michael K would say, a very unmatched currently hour and 53.
It does seem a little slow.
Tomorrow night we will.
Weird.
Yeah,
it's probably because of all the passing.
Oh, the what? Oh, yeah, probably all the incompletes in there.
Yeah. Although they don't stop the clock like they used to.
No, but the incomplete passes as they happen. You know, if the ball's out of bounds, they do burn a couple of seconds before starting the clock.
Right. Yeah.
So it passes over the middle.
Yeah, they stop the clock on out of bounds or incomplete until they get the ball set, which is different than you and I grew up with, where they will always stop the clock until there's 4 minutes left. Mm-hmm. At which point.
But tomorrow night, of course, we will be back again as we're going to be covering the Tampa Bay Bucks playing my beloved New York Giants, who are going to be rocking out that color rush jersey, that white jersey that I was always kind of a fan of from the 80s. You know, a throwback to a better time when the team was expected to make the playoffs instead of, holy shit, they made the playoffs. So they'll look snazzy as they're going to get their asses handed to them by Tom Brady and the Bucks. But I miss that jersey. I do.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you for that ride. I'm gonna bring a violin for you.
Probably the
To
world's
play.
smallest violin coming from an Eagles fan there.
Yes, yes. But there is some truth to what you say. Um, that it's going to be a nice jersey. I know you believe that Tom Brady will play for as long as he wants and is never going to age. I believe we will not see Tom Brady looking old tomorrow.
No,
No.
like I said, that's the color rush look that they've got right there. I like
Okay.
it. I've always been a fan of that jersey. So
I happen to agree. I kind of like that jersey too with the red striped pant.
yeah, so it just looks a lot sharper now on like an HD or flat screen TV than it did on our old CRTs.
Yes.
So, but anyway, 11:13 to go. Clock is a rolling. Find us always on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, friend face. Pick one, roll with it. I'm Scott. Over there is Obi. Any thoughts, comments, ideas, compliments, or complaints? Let us know in the chat.
We're here for you.
Yes, we work for you. So,
right. I don't know. I just started noticing the echo. I'm gonna switch to the earbuds. Hopefully that will help.
Okay, go for it.
We'll see if that changes anything.
So, but yeah, so we're right now. This is must score time for Roethlisberger. I'm not gonna say fourth down territory. You would say fourth down territory, but right now you're facing a 4th and 8 from inside your own 30-yard line. Now you got to punt right here, but it's Roethlisberger starting to look like I said he's not getting the job done. 12 for 19 with 123 yards and a touchdown. So he might only land with like 225 yards. But if the Chargers can score even a field goal right now to make this a 3-score game, that's going to really start putting the foot down on the neck of the Steelers.
Yeah, I hate this punt here. But here's the thing. Not only do I hate this punt here, I knew I was going to hate this punt when it was 3rd and 8.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have not run a play to get that throws over the 4th down marker.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and that obviously is part of the idea behind not punting on 4th down ever, mm-hmm. is that you don't want to leave yourself a 4th and 8 when you're playing for 4 down. So
exactly.
So we'll see what the bot here says. I have a feeling it's going to have suggested to punt because I have a feeling your chance. The reason I definitely wouldn't have punted even in that longer situation is you're already probably going to lose. Mm-hmm. So if had you failed, going to be worse? Really, how much worse is it going to be than having punted it? So we'll find that out in just a moment or so from the machine.
Sure.
But that I don't want to get rid of the ball yet at that point. I
don't blame. Like I said, 4th and 8, you got to. 4th and 3, I would say maybe you got a different conversation to have. But 4th and 8, you got to punt right there.
All right. So if they punt, they had a chance of winning the game of 4% if they punt. If they go for it, they had a winning percentage of 4%. If they go for it and fail, which is what I was suggesting and you were fearing, their chances of winning would go down to 3. If they succeeded, their chances of winning would double to 6. So, like, to me, that's what I kind of look at. Like, yeah, you're probably going to fail. There was only a 35% chance of getting that 1st down. But you're not going to win the game anyway. So, by punting, you didn't help yourself because you're not going to win the game anyway.
So, you said by 3, though, right?
So,
then shall thou count to 3, no more, no less. 3 shall be the number thou shalt count, and the number of the counting shall be 3.
My essential point is that the only way you would have increased your chances of winning was by going for it. And you have a very slim chance of winning as it is. So, yeah, 3. And I'm the only one left? Awesome. So let me just tell you, this is going to be a while of just me because I know how hard it is to get back in once you've been booted. We'll see how long that takes for Scott. And if you've been watching this for a while, you know that I hate punting. I feel like, if they counted it as a turnover, which is what it is, you'd see a lot less coaches doing it. It's the acceptable turnover, but it's still a turnover. And a turnover by any other name is still a turnover. We got so now we're going to see some passing from a different team. Keenan Allen, I think, just crossed 100 yards. Let me double check on that. But he's having himself a great game. Oh, you made it back much quicker than I did when I got booted.
Oh, Chrome literally just crashed on me just now. So I dropped the quick obscenity and then just popped back on as fast as possible.
Well, welcome back. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened right there. Everything just went, just died right out.
Yeah, I see that. But wait, now you're trying to adjust your screens, get that all set up.
I'm restoring it back again.
Yes, Keenan Allen's working on
everything. And then of course, when you're trying to get back in, everything takes slower than you want.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't happen there, but Chrome was like, you know what? I'm going to take a nap now. Bye.
That's okay. Keenan Allen has just crossed 100 yards passing, receiving. I mean, nice. So that's going on nicely for them.
Right there. So, all right. So basically, we're pretty much back and running again.
I think so.
Bloody game. There we go. That's it. All right. Now we're back to 100% again. That was weird.
Are you not hearing me?
No, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
You were
actually.
We were just talking about different things. You were talking about how successful you were getting back, and I was talking about how excited I was to see Keenan Allen get 100 yards receiving. Sorry.
That's fair. You did say that. You know what it was? I'm sitting here looking at everything, trying to wait see what loads. Disk usage, CPU usage, is crapping out. And it's shitting itself at 99% because it's trying to get back up and running again. But thanks, technology. So, all right. So,
couldn't fail this hard without you.
Exactly. Took a team effort to fail, and we all came together to make this loss happen. But yeah, Keenan Allen, 9 catches, 112 yards. Herbert, like I said, he is making shit happen. Yep. You got a lot to be excited about if you're a Charger fan. I don't know how many Charger fans there are, but
yes. Well, how many Charger fans there are just waiting for them to come back to San Diego? Maybe.
Yeah. Late flag there. Great pickup, but late flag maybe pulling it all back. Holding on the offense, so that entire run gets negated.
Good, because I would like all the offense to, at this point forward, be passing to Keenan Allen.
Pad those numbers for you, sir.
Well, there's the lead. I'm definitely winning the game I'm looking at. Like, that's not a question. I'm looking for a high score. That's a few bucks. That always helps. Plus, the wild card in this particular league is based on a bunch of factors that high score improves greatly. So it's a power ranking, and it's based on 3 things: your record against every team every week, and your total points. So a high score is very useful.
Sure. I did a league like that once. Sorry, I just got a massive cramp in my calf right there.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, basically, those Chargers picked up a lot on that second down, on that first down, just to be able to just get a lot of it back. So instead of a holding penalty, now it's second and maybe 3, 4, maybe. Mm-hmm. But Herbert's closing in on 300 yards passing
quickly.
Yes, and he probably will pass that, maybe even in the third quarter here. Yeah, picked up 17 yards on that pass play.
Yeah, he's dominating this game. I feel like, and maybe you'll remember a game that's different, where this is the best we've seen any team play on a game that we've done. Like, this has been
they're playing well on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
And obviously a lot of it had to do with that one stop that they had at the goal line on 4th down. I think that changed the dynamic a little bit there.
I think it only goes to show how important how right that was of a move to make, because they're getting crushed. They really needed those 13 right now would be just as bad as 10, but 17 would feel a lot better.
Herbert scrambling, picking up more yardage, first down, and about 8 yards more than that. Boy, he is making it happen, like I said, on all sides here.
Yes.
All right. So, as always, give us thoughts, ideas, comments, complaints, positive or negative. We'll take it all. So, as always, just to clarify one quick thing here. No, we cannot, in fact, show the game. We will get sued, and I like not getting lawsuits. So, in case you're wondering, for some of the international people who actually have been prone to ask that question, no, we can't run the game. So, but yeah, find us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, find us on everything. Stream Punk Sports, not that hard to find. Stream Punk Sports. We analyze sports for you.
And comment on it. Hey, go on mute. No one wants to hear that.
And cough right into the mic. I'm sorry about that. That was my bad.
Next, you're going to sneeze.
No, I tried to. I couldn't sneeze before. But I am a cotton-headed nitty muggins for coughing on camera.
You are a what?
A cotton-headed nitty muggins. Elf.
Elf.
Yeah. It is Elf. It is Elf movie season, by the way.
Oh, it's from Elf. I'm like, that doesn't spell Elf.
Mm-hmm. The other day, I called myself a cotton-headed nitty muggins, and someone laughed their ass off. So I figured I'd run with it again.
Yeah, well, hopefully somebody out there enjoyed it. If you did, comment on Scott's great joke.
Yes. All right, screen pass picks up a few on that, but it does make for a third and that 4 yards there. Clock is still running though, so the Chargers, even if they get a field goal, go up by 17, and that clock continues to run. And frankly, it's been a tough day right now, Roethlisberger's only at 123 yards with a touchdown. And there's 176 yards of total offense by the Steelers. No sacks, though. Credit words there.
There's 104 days of summer vacation, and school comes around just to end it.
Basically, yeah. What the nervous school. Part of my problem is actually my birthday was September 22nd, so I had to actually go to. Oh, jeez. I was saying I had to go back to school in order to actually celebrate my birthday. Justin Herbert with a big run, but holding on the offense, which means that the hit he took at the 2-yard line is negated anyway. Because he did not slide. So he kind of went shoulder into it.
I'm experiencing a stalled game here on my TV, so give me a moment to work that out.
We'll be right back after these messages. So anyway, like I said, this is Stream Punk Sports. Find us always on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also YouTube, all that at a URL. But it does typically have the coolest content. So if you want to know fast facts on trivia, on sports, and everything is involved for whatever games are upcoming, check it out there. And that is a drop pass that is going to bring up 4th down right there. Wouldn't have been able to pick up probably the first down anyway, but it would have been a little closer for the field goal that's upcoming. But again, it is a big deal for Pittsburgh to start making something happen because they have not really done well today. They had one good drive early on, and that drive only existed because of the fact that they had one. They had a couple of drives, but the first one, they nearly had an interception right at the beginning of it that would have killed that drive right off the bat. So we were looking at a 46-yard kick here. And the snap, and the kick was so very wide left. But there's a flag on the play, so maybe there's a roughing the kicker putt. But yeah, that kick was wide left by about 20 yards.
No, even anything that gives them another shot at, they'll be happy with.
Yep. Oh, that's big. And once again, Pittsburgh screws up offside on the defense. So it remains 4th down. He gets a second shot at it. And they're replaying it now. And, oh, yeah, total jump. Would have been a tip on that, too. But
well, you get to tip it because you got in early.
Yeah. No, he didn't tip it. It came close, but that gives them new life there. So maybe them coming in that close actually threw him off. But now it makes it a 41-yarder. And like I said, they got a second shot here. Yeah. So let's see what's going to happen here. And there we go. Snap, kick, and that one's good. That's got plenty on there. So according to the stat there, that would have made it from 58 yards out had they actually attempted that kick, which, by the way, I love that stat. How far? Hey, what field goal would you have made from that kick?
Right.
Not big on all the new stats and everything like that, but I got to say, I do dig that one.
Well, I like that one because that gives you a sense of how far a kicker can make a kick later in the game.
Dude, I want a 70-yard field goal. I really do. I don't think it's that far fetched. I think sometime in the next 5 years there will be a 70-yard field goal.
I don't know how far fetched it is. It seems long to me.
Nah, I think at some point, basically, kind of a halftime just for the hell of it. We got nothing to lose, kind of a thing.
So I think there's a bizarre safety rule where you can take a 70-yard kick.
There is something where, you can take a safety. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Something where you can do it with nobody on the field. So that's actually, it's a good point. There's also the drop kick rule too, but safety kick, what is that? Yeah, we don't see any drop kicks anymore, but
no.
Doug Flutie might have had the last one, I think. I think in his last game of his career, Belichick let him actually kick an extra point by a drop kick. He got it though. Fair. Oh yeah, the free kick. So basically, the kicker has to attempt the field goal off the ground or with a holder. But it kind of works. Let's see. Let's see. We're looking at 2019. Panthers take advantage of a rarely used fair catch kick rule to try 60-yard field goal. 8 seconds left in the path. The Bucs were facing 4th and 35. Pull off a fair catch free kick. Basically, the rule goes like this. If a team fair catches a punt, they're allowed to attempt a free kick on the next play. If the kick is an attempt of a field goal, the defense has to line up 10 yards off the ball, similar to a kickoff, and they're not allowed to try and block the kick. The free kick is more like a kickoff, except the kicker has to attempt the field goal off the ground with a holder.
Okay.
So it has to be done immediately after a punt.
But no one's coming in.
They're not allowed to come in. They're allowed to take it as a kickoff if he misses. But yeah, if immediately after a punt, if you want to kick the ball back or try for a field goal, yeah, like I said,
and I've definitely seen guys put it through the uprights off the tee.
Oh yeah, well it says with a holder.
Right. So that I'm saying on a tee on a kickoff. So that
on a tee. I mean, you see field goals from the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost too easy. Okay, so what are we looking at for numbers here? Yeah, like I said, Roethlisberger, this is his time. Juju Smith-Schuster, Polytechnic. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. They're at the 25-yard line. Roethlisberger back over the middle for a yard and a half and burns more clock. Whoops. So anyway, right now, looking at this, I think we've run out of topics to talk about. Have we reached the end of this? Can you hear me? I do not hear you, sir.
My mic was muted. I was still doing a few more things.
I do not hear you.
I do not feel like we've run out of topics at all.
Okay.
Yes, we're looking at Big Ben, who's trying to get this job done. And look, I think watching this game brings us back around to an earlier conversation. As Packer Taco 77 said, maybe an hour ago, we have Russ to the Steelers. Now, we know earlier in the season there was a lot of talk about Rodgers to the Steelers. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's Russ who goes to the Steelers. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is Ben's last season. I feel like it should be Ben's last season. I'm not saying he can't put together a little run either. But, this reminds me of what Manning looked like at the end. This reminds me of a little bit of last year's Drew Brees. It looks like it's hurting him to play the game at times. And this game is a game that hurts. Like, that's no joke. This is a game that hurts.
Yeah. And these guys, their job is to just crush you.
Right. I mean, he's not bowling.
Hey, bowling can hurt after a while. That shoulder starts to take a pounding. I don't know. What would be like the least injury-prone sport? I mean, I'm not talking like chess, but I'm talking like a sport.
Yeah, no, a sport, which means that there's got to be a risk of injury.
Croquet?
Yeah, croquet.
Badminton? Although badminton, they hit that thing pretty hard.
No, those guys are moving around that court on badminton.
You know what it is? I think when I think badminton, I think of old ladies at a picnic.
Yeah. Probably pickleball, because it's the game that's literally made for old people.
That is true. Basketball, that would work too. Basketball's safe.
I don't know basketball.
You need to. Basketball is important. Baseball rules. But you get a free throw from various points and just try and make the shot.
Oh, is it like horse?
No, it's not like horse. The line, by the way, from the little movie Basketball, is like, no, it's not like horse. No, what it is, it's first, second, third base, and home run, depending on where you land it. And then your opponent has the opportunity to try and make you miss. And, by doing certain things that they call psych outs, saying something, doing something, or something to throw you off in the middle of your shot.
I see.
Underrated sports movie. But
it's horse.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's literally the line. It's like, no, it's not horse. Roethlisberger back, 1st and 10. Triple pumps and picks up a yard easily on the last play of the quarter there. So,
who's he yelling to back there?
Officiate,
maybe.
Yeah. Third quarter, and they, like I said, they got to make something happen here. It's SoFi Stadium.
Yes. Oh, he's still yelling at the official.
Yeah, well, what was the line from Joe Garagiola? The best applause that a referee can ever get is dead silence.
That sounds about right.
Pretty much it, yeah. Well, when we eventually get the robot umpires in baseball,
we'll still yell.
Yeah. Somebody programmed that robot to be wrong, man.
That's right. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That robot's light sensor is off.
It got programmed by no team. They wanted the Yankees doing that robot. By the way, speaking of the Yankees, I think it's probably going to be pretty likely they're going to get Carlos Correa. The whole trash can gate is be damned. The team needs a decent hitter there.
Yeah. See,
mm-hmm.
Because he's a decent hitter.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because Aaron Boone was at the soccer game today. He's the one that hit the. They have a thing where you hit it and the smokestack goes off. And there's always one honorary person. It was Aaron Boone today. I looked at him and was like, oh my God, he looks old. That job, I think, aged him 10 years and maybe 15 years and 4 years.
Yes, the 76ers have that too with their bell. Who rings the bell?
Yeah, but in this case, he looked worn out.
He's supposed to be on vacation right now.
He basically is, but he still made the appearance and then sat up in the booth. But it was funny. People on Reddit were like, I don't think Aaron Boone knows actually what sport he's actually watching right now. I don't think he understands the rules of soccer. It was kind of funny because a lot of people actually came up in a double-decker bus from Atlanta for this game. And they had their, and that bus was fired up and excited. And it was so funny to listen to the hardcore fans on each side going at it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they fought. Oh wait, they didn't fight. It's
Nah,
soccer.
no fights.
No one's ever
There's
violated
there's
soccer.
F-bombs as there usually is, but come on, city boys, make some fucking noise. You want more. Oh yeah, every home game.
Okay, well,
Yeah, a
that
little,
works.
quiet riot for basically a lot of the 5-year-old kids are like, I have no idea what quiet riot is.
Well, they were in 1984. That song was in the top 100 on Billboard.
Was that 84 or was 83?
I happen to have just been looking at 1984 the other day, so it may have been released in 83, but it charted higher in 84, or it may have charted in both years.
All right,
which always affects your ability to be really high because you were dropped in like November or December. You peak whenever. So I don't know when it peaked or anything, but it charted. It was in the top 100 in 1984 on Billboard's list.
We are incorrect. It actually started in 1973 by the group Slade. Holy shit, Slade! Whoa.
Well, we're not incorrect. We are talking about Quiet Riot's version of the song.
Yeah, quite right. But the original version was 1973, and 1983. Quiet Riot covered the song. Wow, Slade did that. There's a Christmas song that's played in Europe all the time. And this is Christmas time.
Of course, yes.
Everybody. Yeah, that's Slade. And they actually did come on, feel the noise. I'm today years old when I learned that shit. So I'm going to have to listen to that at some point.
Yeah, now you got a new song to put on your pat that ball down. The new song to put on your list of I'll put it in my cover. I have a cover playlist that has the original followed by the cover.
The actual
what I actually tried to do, what turned out to fail, was I wanted it to be like original cover, an original by the band that did the cover, a cover of that.
Okay.
And then original by
cycle it down.
Yeah, so
you got like 7 versions in a row.
No. So let's say song A played by the original and the cover band. Then the band that covered it sings song B, and the band that covered song B.
Okay. So okay. So it's more like a domino effect in a way.
Yeah.
Right
did
now,
not work out.
Right now, for my long trips that I got to and from Brooklyn and places like that, I'm doing every song ever done by Kansas. Dust in the Wind, Carrying Wayward Son. Their stuff in like the late 80s got freaking metal.
Yeah.
And it was hard. I was shocked. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it's great. I was so impressed with it because I do this where, a lot of times if I had these long car rides for an hour or two, I went through like everything Zeppelin ever did, everything NSYNC, Ace of Base, Darius Rucker and Hootie and the Blowfish, Earth, Wind and Fire. I mean, I've gone through so many at this point, but I've been really impressed with what Kansas has brought to the table. Because sometimes after a while, they really kind of suck. Fogerty was not great after a while. NSYNC was surprisingly terrible with a lot of the songs that didn't chart. But no, I've been really impressed with them.
Yeah, that's why the Santana album was so impressive. The one that won all the Grammys, because he should have been releasing just garbage at that point.
Well, Santana, after a while, all he did was just play music and then just had, Michelle Branch or Rob Thomas or whoever it was, just sing.
Right. No, but that's what I'm saying. That album to have charted and won all those Grammys after having had such a long career, and he was at that stage where you're just putting out albums for the old people who follow you still. Sorry if a band from our youth releases an album, we just some old people still following them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Remember back in 2006, I ended up seeing Juice Newton down in Florida because I was at Fort Lauderdale or something, and she had an event down there. And yes, of course, she did Two of Hearts and King of Hearts and whatever that other song is. Oh, Angel, just call me Angel. The morning, yeah.
Yep.
The one at the beginning of Deadpool.
Yes. So on our recent podcast, I was for Drinking from the Garden Hose. So hey, go ahead, grab that podcast, give it a listen. We were talking about some of the bands we saw. I saw David Johansen in a record store with 20 people.
Okay.
So David Johansen, you may remember him from the New York Dolls,
mm-hmm.
or you actually remember him from his other stage name when he said, "Feeling hot, hot, hot,
Oh
feeling
yeah,
hot."
okay.
So, yes, I can't. That was a good show. So that character for that show, for that song, which I can't believe it's escaping me, but these things always do because I'm old and have holes in my brain. So apparently, was he would do New York Dolls Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then on Monday nights at the few bars that were open in the restaurant scene because bars weren't open, he'd play that song at the places where he'd do that act and those songs on the places where other musicians and all the restaurant crews were going on Monday nights because restaurants are closed traditionally on Monday nights. So that's that story.
Nice. So, all right, where do we stand right now? We got 14-10 remaining. Chargers got the ball, up by 2 touchdowns. Herbert closing in on 300 yards, as I mentioned, I guess about 20 minutes ago, give or take.
Buster Poindexter. Sorry to interrupt.
That's good. Interrupt away. It's all right. No, just hide that real quick. Clock is continuing to run. And at this point, yeah, the Chargers want to burn as much clock as possible. Get this game over with and walk away with the win. Second down at 5, and he's stopped short, 2 yards from short of the goal line. You don't want to give the ball back to Brent Roethlisberger, though.
You don't?
Nah. He may be old, but he knows he can grit through this.
Oh, you mean without scoring a touchdown here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know, like I said, you've got the ball, you burn that clock. You still have 13 minutes left, which is a lot of time. So this 3rd and 3 is going to be hugely important because you can get that clock down easily to under 10 minutes. And Herbert back the pass, throwing deep and to literally nobody. Away nobody.
This is the thing about an old quarterback. Like, you're right. You just worry that at some point he's just going to find it in the middle of a game and be like, oh, I was 20 again for a quarter because I could think.
One brief moment. So
for a brief moment, my body caught up to my brain because he's an old quarterback. He's still a young brain.
He is. Oh, yeah. Oh, that brain is very, very sharp there. And listen, there are times where he can still make it happen, like you said. So be right back.
You got it. So Scott's leaving us to watch this punt, knowing how much I despise a punt. I mean, that's his basic plan. Make Obi discuss the punt so that we can see how it is. Now, I will say this. In this case, you're up by a lot. You're up by 14. Taking this punt seems to me to be the right move. I'm more in favor of teams up, not giving their opponent a chance to come back. So get rid of the ball here, make them drive the field. It looks like there's going to be a penalty on this, so that's really going to come back to help out for the Chargers. In addition, what else are we going to do? You can't leave Bannon in such an easy position. Yes. Forced out of bounds twice. So I thought you were allowed to be, as long as you tried to get back in, which it looked like he was doing. So we'll see what this penalty is. You may be ahead of me. Sometimes I have the slow TV feed. See if I can get anything somewhere else. But no. That was actually probably a good punt, and it may even have had a good result.
Flag on that. Okay, so I'm back in again.
Yes.
What have I missed? Did I miss anything?
You missed the punt, but you may actually get to see what the flag was. They have a false start on the offense.
I saw. Yeah. All right. Like I said, this is Big Ben's up. Well, they're gonna it looks like they're gonna repunt it. All right.
Yeah. So here, what I was saying is, since you have a better chance, since you're most likely to win, we know it's in the 90 percentile range. Giving up that 3%,
huge.
Giving up that 3% is okay for me when you're this likely to win.
Oh, that's big though. Pittsburgh with a monstrous block, and got the ball probably around the 3-yard line.
Oof.
That's exactly what that team needed right there to get back into this.
Yep.
And suddenly that one offside looms very, very large.
Absolutely.
Yeah, between the 2 and 3 yard line.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be 20-7 most likely.
Hmm.
And Herbert's going to have to show us what he's made of. Ooh. Right on through.
I mean, you can't blame the punter on that. That defense just crumbled.
Oh, no, there was.
Yeah.
He didn't. Yeah. I don't exactly like kickers getting blamed for the punt for it being blocked. Occasionally, if it's a long kick and maybe they had a lower angle than they usually kick on, but not on a punt.
There was already half a dozen guys around him. It was just a matter of which one was going to get to it.
Yep. So now Ben just needs to, interestingly, not even go with play action. Like here, we're definitely throwing it.
Go for a run too. Just run the ball. You got. This is 4-down territory. So you know what? I would almost say run the ball 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, but they didn't even line up in a situation that gave them the chance to show a play action. They literally empty backfield. I thought that's a little. I don't mind throwing it here at all on all 4 downs. I would like some play action and at least make my defense think. Spreading them out like that seems to me to be a little.
Well, that didn't work. So now, at this point, I mean, with a 2-yard loss like that, you have to throw the ball.
Yeah,
you're looking at a 3rd and 5. But credit, by the way, in this case to LA, because again, LA had the worst run defense in the league. They have held Pittsburgh to 54 yards rushing today.
Yeah.
And Ben Roethlisberger is like, oh, no.
Well, if you only get a field goal, no. If you, geez Louise.
You could, I mean, you could theoretically go for a field goal. You need another field goal and a 2-point conversion, touchdown with a 2-point conversion.
Yes.
But you're asking a lot right there.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? I ran the play you called.
And a padded pass, and now it's 4th down and 5. All right, 4th down and 5 now at the goal. Do you go for it here or do you take that field goal?
I'm going. I'm not letting no. I'm going for it now. That earlier field goal was about the game was still close. We don't really want to change field goals for touchdowns, but hey, let's get it now.
I don't know. I mean, obviously they're going to go for it, which is probably the right call, but the 2-yard loss suddenly looms very, very large.
The whole thing looms large. This has just been an ugly possession.
And picked in the end zone. Well, it's a flag, though. Hang on a sec. Boy, if that's a pass interference, that would be really bad. So let's see what the call is, because that would obviously give Pittsburgh new life again.
Yep.
Conferring, discussing. Oh, my God, yeah. Pass interference on the defense.
New life. First and goal from the 1.
I mean, if ever there was a penalty for spooning, that would pretty much be it right there.
Oh, way early. Way early.
Oh, yeah.
Hugging on the defense.
Now, again, Pittsburgh has to get it in the end zone because, I mean, they went back 2 yards even though they had a golden opportunity and got, frankly, lucky as hell here.
Let's add one other thing here.
And that'll do it. Boom.
They wasted a lot of time to get this touchdown, though, as well.
But now we're game. So
yes,
it pays off in the end with a little bit of luck.
But, boy, did they run the clock.
But like you said about 5 minutes ago, this sees what Herbert's made of, because now he's only got that 1 touchdown lead. And here's what I will say to this. They've gotten the touchdown, good for Pittsburgh in this case, but they have not shown me that they can really set a good drive. And as a result, it is still very heavily in the Chargers' favor because Ben right now has not made that happen. Yeah,
I mean, look, if you're the Chargers, you get a 6-minute drive and a field goal, you're feeling very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you burn a lot of clock off. You get that 3 point. That 3 points makes it a 2-possession game once again.
Right. Now, if you can go 10 minutes in a touchdown, even better. But you just need six minutes in the field goal here.
Oh, yeah. That clock is still your ally at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Your best friend.
Oh, yeah. All right. So
yes, now we got some driving commercials, but
Yeah.
we have a game, we have a drive that we're going to get to cover now and focus on and be dug in on because the Steelers have made this a game. Even if Ben's only thrown for 177 yards, but no turnovers. That helps. Helps a lot. Although Justin Herbert is the leading rusher for the LA Chargers. I don't think that was what the plan was.
Yeah, no, not at all.
For this to turn into a game like that,
it's also turned into a decent scoring game at that too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many games that ended like 13-10, 16-13. So at least there's 47 points that have been scored between the two.
Yeah.
I'm sleep good tonight.
Not
Past
me.
my bedtime.
Okay. My wife is still like, you're waking up for your kid tomorrow and taking him to school. But
yeah, I guess so.
My desk job's treating me right. Got 2-day work week this week coming up.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not sure. I may not even be on set this week too with the short schedule and everything.
Oh, you guys.
Most productions run through Wednesday, yeah, and then taking the weekend off after that. But I know Brightside or Hello Tomorrow is running through Wednesday.
Okay, but still, yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's good.
Between Christmas and New Year's, they do take that period off.
So I got
there'll be a couple weeks I won't do anything.
Yeah, my particular company, we have a problem with our PTO.
Okay.
In that they don't tell the employees on their pay stub or really anywhere how much time that you've used versus what you're expected to earn.
Okay.
They tell your boss, but they don't tell you.
Yeah.
If your boss doesn't tell you, what ends up happening is around this time of the year, your boss is sending you emails. Dude, you've only used 10% of your PTO. Ma'am, you've only used 20% of your PTO. So mass amounts of the company end up taking off large times around Thanksgiving, large times around Christmas. As a matter of fact, there's one guy who I do work with. He's like, oh, why don't you time this so when you go on Christmas break, you give it to me and I'll do all the testing over Christmas break. I'm like, well, why are you going to work Christmas break? I'm like, oh, wait, yeah. Because this is the guy who takes vacations every year. Like, he'll take 3 weeks of vacation because he can, and he knows it's use it or lose it. So he's the one guy who's like, I'm confident I can take maybe 3 weeks is an exaggeration, but I can take a nice chunk in June, and then I'll work during Christmas because I don't care.
My aunt had that problem when she was a college professor where she had the PTO problem. Me being self-employed, and Robin too, my wife, we don't really have the PTO thing. We're just like, well, if we don't work, we don't get paid. It's that simple.
That's a different type of thing, though. But you can still sort of figure out how much you need to make for the year.
Yeah.
And if you're there, then I'll take the rest of the year off. Of course, if you're there, you're like, you have a different issue also that for you, your hours aren't just about income. You have to work a certain amount of hours to get qualify for your health insurance. So you have double things that you're trying to.
Union health insurance, which honestly, right now has actually been really good as far as the numbers I've had, and I've kind of crushed it for the new cycle so far. Thankfully, knock on wood. By the way, the Chargers pick up another first down, closing in on midfield, and about 10 and a half minutes to play. So they're marching down the field, doing exactly what they needed to recover that. Yeah, no, in my case though, I typically end up on set about 2 to 3 days a week, and when I do, my days are long as crap. So I had three days so far this week that were like, 10, 15 hours. I'm out of the house 17 hours a day sometimes. But the Chargers, yes.
I agree with you, Tono.
Yeah, those Chargers are actually pulling this off really nicely right now. They're burning the clock. The Pittsburgh defense is getting tired too, which is a huge, huge benefit.
As they should be. They've been here playing against this team. Most of the game has looked like the light blue team has had the ball, and the baby blue Chargers are just boom, 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 bang it. Here you go, another few yards on first down. Clock ticks down. We're under 10 minutes.
Yeah, and keep working that clock, keep milking that down. Right now it's 9:40 to play, and second down at 5. You pick up another first down. You could easily get this down to 4 minutes to play and score. Make it a 2-possession game too.
And wherever you're watching from, go ahead, give us comments as we come down to. We finally have a game drive here. I mean, this feels
really
to Scott and I, who Scott's always ahead of me on time, as the drive that's going to mark the game and end the game. But will it really be? We'll find out. Well, you guys always find out a few minutes before me.
Well, you're further south, so we get things faster up here.
Right. Let's blame that. Let's blame the slow Comcast Southern New Jersey internet and TV.
Comcast, which doesn't get Yankee games, so you got a jerry-rig a system. But the Chargers need this win to be able to stay in contention with, like I said, the surging Chiefs, because they'll be a half a game back. But Herbert, oh my God, he took off again. Down to the 30, down to the 20, and he's seeing touchdown, but he's not going to get it. Oh my God, that was a huge pickup there. That's they're not going to burn a lot of clock on this drive over. Oh, a little pushing and fighting going on.
So it's not just the Chiefs. It's we talked about it, the pile up of what is due for the wild card.
Yes.
By winning this game, they move ahead of the Steelers in the wild card, who are the definitive wild card team. By having the game, the victory gets them. Although, because Steelers have the tie, they're either going to be ahead or behind. They're not going to have a
6-4 to 5-4-1 if the Chargers can hold on.
Right. So it probably won't come down to the head-to-head matchup just because the one team has the tie, but you always have to think that way.
Yeah, that was about a 30-yard pickup for Herbert right there.
And then a 15-yard flag.
And a 15-yard, well, they have the distance, but yeah. So it's first down and goal at about the 6. But yeah, Pittsburgh's getting pissed off. But again, they have not been able to. The offense of Pittsburgh has not been able to make it happen. I thought they might be able to get something going, but
where's the unnecessary roughness? Oh, the post tackle.
Well, it wasn't the tackle. It was
the post tackle.
The junk.
What?
He punched Herbert in the junk.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to get a different view then, aren't I?
But next play, they're in for the touchdown. So.
Yeah, he missed the junk, but yeah, he definitely punched.
Yeah, maybe just a hair above it, but
definitely punched him for no good reason. And
that might be worthy of you might get fined for something like that.
Yeah.
Fines are negligible anyway. Hell, Aaron Rodgers got a $15,000 fine, which came out. I think we did the math based on his net worth is equivalent to like $6.25 for people like us.
Well, fines are negligible, and maybe even to a Hayward character, but not to every player. And that's the thing that they're certainly
good.
counting on.
Yeah, so right now this is exactly what they needed. Maybe you wanted to actually burn a little more clock off, but again, you've got it's a two touchdown game now. Yeah. So you recovered from that punt, that muff punt very, very well, that punt block.
Yeah, I don't with the touchdown, I don't feel like it was too fast. Yeah, would I preferred it to be the game's over? And yes. However, this play they're showing the replay on happened and he stayed in bound and it was nice. So now we're just moving forward and ask our defense to do what they've really done all game if I'm the Chargers, right? Just keep it going.
But yeah, in this case, it's putting pressure on Roethlisberger. The running game has been non-existent. So as a defense that Roethlisberger is going to have to take control and pass the ball. So you can play this so much differently, knowing that they're probably not likely going to be running the ball.
And even if they are running the ball, that's going to be slower. It's going to take time, and the clock's your friend.
Yeah. By the way, Herbert 6 carries, 93 yards.
You saw what Jalen Hurts did today. He wanted some of that.
Basically, yeah, trying to pull a little bit of that. But yeah, that run play was 36 yards. 26 for 34, 294, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and 93 yards rushing. Yeah, for those of you who have him on your fantasy team, what is that? Let's see, 11, then 15, 19. Yeah, 28 and change right now.
32, according to CBS.
For Yahoo?
CBS.
Okay. Yeah,
the other big scorer is Eckler, who's got only 50 yards on 10 carries with 2 touchdowns. He's got 33.
Yeah, I was going to say, from a fantasy standpoint, even Harris wasn't that bad by statistic.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he's hanging in there. So now it's time for hit up Fryermuth for me just a little bit, Yeah.
Yeah, right now, according to Yahoo Fantasy, he's at 29 points. Yeah. So that kid's got a bright future. Don't get injured, kid. Don't get injured.
Oh, don't let the tape catch up on you.
Don't let what?
The tape catch up on you.
Oh yeah.
But
I wouldn't mind actually catching a game out there. SoFi Stadium, just once.
Yeah. Weather probably be beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it always is out there.
Robin and I have talked about going, doing not a cross country trip, but just like anywhere we end up, we'll just hit a game of some sort. We talked about that with London for next year. Doing a game, if it's like a Jacksonville game or whoever's playing over in London at the time, catch that. Catch a Premier League soccer game. Just why not,
Yes. How do you think I ended up seeing Britney Spears?
I don't know. How did you end up?
We were in Vegas. It was like, just see a show, any show. What show can we get tickets to? Britney. All right, let's go see Britney.
Well, I'm going to basically be a little bit of a pretentious dick here with what I'm going to say, but because she's a veterinarian and requires continuing education, a lot of times we can turn a trip like that into a business expense because she needs the CE credit as a self-employed person.
There you go.
So when
you think that was any more pretentious than me talking about how I end up with half of December off because I don't use my PTO? So
that's fair. Yeah, but yeah, when we went to San Diego 5 years ago, first time I'd ever been there, she went to a conference, got CE credits, and it was a write-off, and I got to see San Diego for the first time.
There you go.
So we're gonna try and do that for London next year too. She'll take some classes over there, and then be like, boop, and sack, and no fumble, but a big sack right off the bat. And I believe also the Chargers' first sack of the game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you are correct.
You are correct, so. So, yeah, 9-yard loss, first sack of the game there. So even the O-line's getting tired.
Well, at least they recover the ball.
Yes. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did fumble and come out. But time of possession is relatively close. Chargers at 28 minutes. Pittsburgh's at 22 and change. That ball is nice catch, but it's still in bounds, which sort of makes a bit of a difference right now. Not a huge one, but it does make a difference.
Anytime you can save right now, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, is your friend.
Now, I want to also point out though that the Chargers have 11 penalties so far. So despite the fact, go ahead.
I was going to use the word despite the other way. Despite they're winning and dominating, despite the fact that they can't keep themselves playing the game correctly.
What did I say?
Basically, I think we agree that 11 penalties and to be this dominant is impressive.
Yeah, agreed. So, but again, the clock is continuing to run. Now you're at 7 minutes and almost 15.
You'll take your first down, but yeah, the Chargers will take 3 downs every time. Yeah. Take 3 passes.
But see, also they're struggling to get to the line of scrimmage and get this going too. So now you're closing in on set. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but there's some kind of miscommunication because they burned like 15 seconds off that clock doing nothing.
I just don't think is it. Yeah, that just
a 5-yard pickup or maybe 4-yard pickup right there too. Harris is slow to get up now. So clock has stopped, but Yeah, I thought he took a hit. Oh, might have been on the knee. Helmet to the knee.
Or maybe helmet to helmet.
Oh, he looks bad. Yeah. Well, in the meantime, as always, find us on Facebook and Twitter and all the other areas, Instagram things. That's Streampunk Sports, except for Twitter, which is Streampunk Sport.
And if you are watching us on Twitch, we have all the panels that link directly to all those various sites and socials.
Nice and
So you
easy.
can go right ahead and boom, follow them along. And don't forget, we have our 5 quick facts on our YouTube page. They'll make you a sports genius. Win yourself a bar bet.
Yes. You can basically impress your friends, impress your dates, impress that drunk guy down at the bar who you'll probably never see again and probably don't like, but really, really want to make him look stupid. That's the guy you want to go focus on too. So,
well, if you don't like him, probably don't talk to him. But that's just my advice. But if he keeps insisting on talking to you and spitting in your face, go, hey, by the way, did you know that only 2 quarterbacks have punted in the playoffs since 1990? One of them is Tom Brady. Who's the other? And win yourself some money.
Yeah, damn it. That was one of the things the other day too. Tom Brady, and you were talking specifically about whoever the other one was.
Yes, in the clip I was talking about the other guy, and Tom Brady was the question.
Was it an Eagle? No.
The guy who's playing tonight.
Was it Roethlisberger?
Yes, 20-yard punt, 25.
20-yard punt. Okay, all right. Huh. Was that on today's Fast Fact?
That was on today's Fast Facts. Apparently you weren't watching the Fast Facts. I'm hurt.
No, I just write them.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, in one ear, out the other, caught by one brain cell and probably dropped.
Asante Samuel Jr. has a concussion. His second of the season. That's a problem for the Chargers long term.
The Voice live. Except on Peacock where it's available the next day. So it's not really live.
It's not really live.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's what happened to Harris. Oh, yeah. Okay, I totally see it. It was an accident. It was a elbow right to the helmet. And it looked accidental. It didn't look legit, but
yeah, that's what I thought. I thought live that there was boom. Yep.
Yeah, but again,
he got knocked out. He drops the ball. If only for a second. Boom.
But now it's 3rd down and 5.
So Harris will be out for the game, if not next game.
Yeah, he might be under concussion protocol after that too. But that's not what they needed. Like I said, they needed him. He didn't have a good game today, but they needed his legs.
Oh, they're gonna need him to stay in this wild card fight.
Yeah,
stay in this division that they're in. That's all sorts of cutting going on.
Yeah, there's no more. Adrian Peterson's already spoken for.
Right. Hey, Le'Veon Bell's available.
Yes, he is, and also he used to play for Pittsburgh.
Famously, that's when he was good. Remember?
Actually, a great pickup down to the inside the 30 and out of bounds too.
That's gonna keep their hope alive.
Yeah, let's see. What has Adrian Peterson's numbers been this year? Come on, feel the note. So far, Peterson has not done much.
No.
Two games, 42 yards. 1 TD though, so he did tie, I think, Walter Payton's mark.
That doesn't include today's game then.
I guess not. No.
Or did he just not play today?
Doesn't say on.
9 rushes, 40 yards. Hey, he averaged 4.4 yards per carry.
All right, so basically he is getting his legs going. All right, 6 minutes to go.
Hilliard averaged 5 yards a carry, so I still understand. Foreman 3.6.
Hilliard.
Dontrell Hilliard.
Nah. By the way, I just want to point out I am really, really curious about the Slade cover or the original version of "Come On, Feel the Noise."
It is sometimes. Come on, like I can hear that as a.
Well, it's almost like girls just want to have fun. The original version, not the Cyndi Lauper one, but the one before that. It's actually, believe it or not, hers was actually a cover.
I did not know that.
Yes. And they are in for the touchdown. Yeah, that one was. Sorry. Yeah, the original one. Let's say J.C. Stewart. Is that the name?
Well, there's that whole Renegade, the album Renegades of Funk. That whole album's covers.
Robert Hazard was the one who did it originally back in 1979. And then crap. Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine. That actually was a cover in itself too. Yeah. All these 80s songs that we didn't know were covers are covers. So
yeah, we didn't know they were covers. Our parents did.
My parents, not my father. Here's the weird thing about my father. He is so versed in like 50s music, knows 50s music inside and out, and Blondie. Just randomly Blondie is in there for some reason. My father just knows the shit out of her. So I got questions in that regard.
Well, that's how it goes.
I am really curious. Like I said, I'm curious about that. All right. So now we got a little under 5 minutes left. Again, a 1-touchdown game. So Pittsburgh is staying in it and doing well that way. But is it enough? Stay tuned and find out.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yes. Bo knows, because Bo knows everything. Bo knows football. Bo knows baseball.
All on the Watchtower. That's a cover too.
Is it really?
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix is not the original.
Interesting.
That's a Bob Dylan song. Most of Bob Dylan songs are actually covers. So
apparently, the movie A Star Is Born is also a remake too.
Of which one? Which one's the remake of which one? Hasn't that been
I know. I meant that as a joke there.
Okay. I will.
Yeah, I know. That one with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, like the fourth version of that movie that ever came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, feel. We'll see. For a while there, I actually had a radio show on WFDU. So it was called 80s Kid, if you remember that way back. And that's why I remember it was 1983 for Come On, Feel the Noise, because I played it one year and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't, given the way it's spelled.
Okay.
Yeah. But
and you played it anyway because
it's 80s.
Yeah. Because, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me. I can't think of any great examples offhand, but I would listen to the office work radio station and they play these songs and you'd be like, when that song came out in the 80s, that was controversial. There was issues with that. And now it's on the office radio because everyone who's listening to it grew up with it and it doesn't mean nothing.
It's easy listening death metal or easy listening heavy metal.
Right.
I mean, you listen to, when we were kids, my parents were like, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, they're terrible, all this kind of stuff. And you got like Megan Thee Stallion with like thought shit, or what was the one from Cardi B? What WAP is the name of the song.
Yeah.
So I know we're dating ourselves.
I like that song. No, not we. I'm all for WAP. Love that song. I'm okay with the Megan Thee Stallion song. I recognized when I was a kid that my parents are complaining about the same things they listened to. If they took a second to listen to their songs, and I recognize that parents today are complaining about things that were no worse than the songs we listened to.
And then what will happen is basically the next generation, whatever level will be at that point.
But it's not. Come on, man. Do you not remember Two Live Crew?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse than Two Live Crew. There's nothing worse than Two Live Crew. And I love them, and I didn't think they were bad then. And I don't let myself get lied to about how the line's moving for the kids these days.
And it's a pick. Oh,
We got ourselves a ball game.
They definitely do here. A tip and a pick, and suddenly Pittsburgh is in the drive, not in the driver's seat, but certainly got the momentum going.
Oof.
That is exactly that. Everything in this fourth quarter has been exactly what the Chargers did not need.
But he's out. Another helmet-to-helmet hit.
And suddenly Roethlisberger is at 261 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I was saying that earlier. I've waffled a little bit. I'll admit that, but he starts off slow and then starts to pick it up. I didn't think he'd have this in him, but impressed just the same.
Yeah. And who lays this hit on this guy to knock him out? An offensive lineman, helmet to helmet into a defensive back. I
don't think there was a call on that, though, was there?
There was no call on that. Second most in NFL and career high. He's having a good game.
We may have an overtime game yet.
No. Cameron Hayward's having a good game other than punching Herbert in the stomach.
Was it the stomach or maybe more like the fupa?
Okay, we'll go with the fupa.
Get punched in the fupa. Roughing the passer on the defense. Yeah. Herbert might have to try and get the ball down the field just for a field goal to win this game. 10 minutes ago, we were like, all right, they're firmly in the driver's seat. But they couldn't get the
You're the one who said they scored too early, which I did not believe at all for a second for that touchdown, that they scored too early.
The Chargers?
Yeah.
Well, see, unfortunately, now you look at how much time is left. I mean, Chargers do have both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining.
Oh, Bosa.
Pump, throw over the middle, and incomplete. Never mind. Thought it was picked.
He's playing with fire down here in the end zone.
So, and by the way, tune in tomorrow night, like I've mentioned previously, as my New York Giants go on the road against a pissed-off Tampa Bay Bucks team, and Tom Brady, who has gone on record by saying he really likes to beat the New York Giants because it is the only team of the 20 teams he's played in the playoffs that he has never beaten. So he's got a certain hate going on for that team.
Yeah. Can Tom Brady get the same hate for abandoning that presser that Cam Newton got for abandoning the presser after the Super Bowl?
Yeah. And now we're an extra point away from being tied. Damn. Steelers have scored, not counting the extra point, have scored 23 points in this quarter.
23-7, right? Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This has been brutal.
This has been ugly.
Oh,
Defense has gone to sleep when they should have been.
And we're tied.
Hey, I got the Freiermuth touchdown. I'll take that. There you go.
Yeah. Field goal touchdown, Charger touchdown, and then 2 back-to-back touchdowns in 26 seconds.
Yep.
Wow. And also, in this case, not just the drive, which makes me look like an idiot for what I said before, but also the punt block. They've suddenly just turned this on.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. They are in go mode.
Yeah.
From the moment that punt was blocked. Now the defense did give up one touchdown, a huge scramble, so it's still, but they also have the turnover.
Yeah.
So the defense is now it's up to defense to win them the game.
Now it's a little early, it's a little preemptive to say this, but should the Chargers lose, then the Kansas City Chiefs will be 7-4, and the rest of that division will be 5-5. So that suddenly makes a game and a half difference between the Chiefs and everybody else.
It is a little early to say that, but this is the team that people were writing off. A quarterback people were writing off. Oops.
Oh yeah. And honestly, I was figuring, like I said, the Chargers were in the driver's seat. They shouldn't. If they lose this game, they're going to look back on this the rest of the season and say we should have won this.
Yeah. Now the Chargers are a team that when they were in San Diego were
and a drop. He had it, fumbled it in the air, and dropped it.
When they were in San Diego, they were known for falling asleep in the second half of the season.
I know. Well, see, that's because basically I had Phillip Rivers on my fantasy team most of the time. So yes, I know that firsthand.
Don't blame Phillip Rivers. Did you see that receiver? Like, look at that. That was the first down.
But see, that hurts your fantasy numbers when basically drops like that end up happening.
That is true.
So there was one game I had Phillip Rivers. I needed literally 4 points, from Rivers to win. And he threw 3 interceptions and had a fumble loss in the first quarter, and they benched him. So not only did I not get my 4 points, I actually went backwards like 7 points.
That happened last year in my league. Somebody was starting Ronald Jones and a sack. And they needed, I believe, 1 point from Ronald Jones to win the game and beat like the best team in the league. And Ronald Jones had a fumble and then was benched. Now that usually happens in a running back situation where there's 2 running backs. Usually doesn't happen with a quarterback.
Yeah. And by the way, right now Herbert and the Chargers are facing a 3rd and 14, so it's a passing situation. Pittsburgh knows it's a passing situation, and Pittsburgh could come from behind and win this. Yeah. There's still plenty of time left on both sides of the ball. But you know what? If I was the Chargers, I'd throw the ball deep. I'd just say, what the hell? Just throw it 40 yards, see what happens.
Maybe get the pass interference or the roughing the passer.
Yeah, or something. Obviously you can't go underneath, but now they did short, but I think he's short on that. By a hair, by like maybe half a yard. They might have to measure this. Yeah, he's short, but maybe by half an inch.
Ooh.
And that kick is going to go right into the...
Are they kicking it?
Nothing said yet, but...
Hell no.
Hell no. Punt won't go. 4th and
Hell to no.
They are not doing that. They're not doing that, but they might try and get Pittsburgh to jump. Nope, they're going to play it. And, Nelly. And Pittsburgh has the ball back.
Okay.
Another 4th down that actually on the other side of the fence. Honestly, if you're a Charger fan right now, you got to be in shock.
Why are they not sneaking it?
I don't blame the call there. I don't think it's the worst call ever. But
I will say this is what I do. I do have a complaint about this series of plays.
Mm-hmm.
I would have challenged the spot.
You got 3 timeouts anyway.
You got 3 timeouts, so you want to stop the clock and make sure you call the right play.
Mm-hmm.
So you use the challenge as your timeout. And if you win the challenge, great. If you don't win the challenge, you still have the timeout to talk to your team about what things happen.
Absolutely, yeah. Agreed.
So I would have challenged the spot on 3rd down. I thought it was a 1st down. It was a hard place to spot. I would have, even if you got yourself another inch or 2, so you could have just leaned in with Herbert. Although I do obviously agree with having gone for it there.
By the way, this stat that's upcoming for the Pittsburgh Steelers for you is going to be huge. When trailing by 17 or more in the 4th quarter, their record is 0-230.
Well, they still have to win this game.
I know, but Largest deficit in the fourth quarter they ever overcame was 15 points.
Ah,
Could you imagine
Zyba.
these?
We
Yeah.
got a Steelers boy here. I forget. You know what? Last time this is our second Steelers game because last time I did wear my father-in-law's shirt, but this time I did not. My father-in-law is a Steelers or was a Steelers fan.
Here's my question for Zybucks. I've used the line from I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I've used the line repeatedly of like, Roethlisberger, hug it, shuck it, football. And I always wondered if that was something that stuck in Pittsburgh, when it comes to Roethlisberger. Because it was an ad-lib line from the movie Zack and Miri Make a Porno. And it was about Roethlisberger specifically. It was a funny as hell scene. But I always wondered if that line stuck. Or if that's just like a Kevin Smith thing.
Yeah, that'd be a tough line to stick since, that wasn't a...
Believe it or not, it is a hashtag. Because when I hashtag for the Instagram page, it did come up. So, but
Okay.
Pittsburgh right now would be a half a game out of first if they can win this game.
And Kansas City would be clearing space. So here's the...
You're a fan, like I said, you got to be an unbridled shock right now. This is like borderline like Falcon Super Bowl level shock, where you're up like that and you're just like, what the hell just happened? Or Giants 2010, Deshaun Jackson. We mentioned that earlier in the game. That the hell just happened. Yeah. Last three comments, we had a Charger and a Steeler fan.
Well, it's good to have the debate, the healthy debate or anger.
Be a master at it. So 3rd down and 3, they're already in field goal range.
Yeah.
They're down to 1 timeout though. So.
And this is last thing they want is I didn't think they had it.
No. Especially after that stat being down 7. Flag on the play though. But being down 17 in the fourth quarter, being 0 and 230.
I guess it's going to be. Oh, he got it. He got the call he wanted.
Was it holding?
It's on the defensive back. I mean, you see the flag getting called against the defensive back. So it's going to be 1st and goal, probably, if not just 5 yards.
I think he put up the signal. Yeah, he's put up the signal for 4th down. Yeah. It's one problem with having this on mute. I don't get Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth to tell me what's going on, but
they're
still, yeah.
Okay.
But this would put them in the lead. And again, puts it on Justin Herbert.
If he makes the kick, which you've probably already seen already.
What's that? Yeah, he's got it by plenty. That kick would have made it from 62 yards. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the Chargers right now, there's no word you can use besides just shocked. When you have that kind of a lead and suddenly you just watch it diminish because you give up, I think, 27 points in the fourth quarter right now?
Yeah.
I mean, credit, Roethlisberger's put this team on his back. Suddenly he's put up like 200 yards in this quarter. Well, it's turned into a hell of a good game so far.
Now,
again, it's not a low-scoring affair, which has been a problem that we've had with these games this season.
Yes. All right. Everyone's excited in Pittsburgh. 3 minutes, 24 seconds. This is
a lot can still happen, sure, but this game has the potentiality of going down in history as one of the best Sunday night football games of all time.
Since 2011, 32 losses after leading in the fourth quarter. Wow.
What's that?
Wow. Since 2011, the Chargers have had 32 losses after leading in the fourth quarter. Where are those Phillip Rivers should be in the Hall of Fame people?
Well, we've had that conversation on Sports Den.
Yes. There it is, the biggest play of the game. But the thing is, they turned it around. They scored this touchdown, and the Chargers came right back and scored the touchdown after it. So that wasn't it. Right? Boom, boom. Then Roethlisberger's like, I'm not done. Then the interception. over here. Going for it on fourth down when I would have, so I'm not going to complain about that, not getting it.
Fair enough.
Oh, there you go. Take 6 yards, 6 yards.
Roethlisberger, by the way, is third all time in fourth quarter comebacks, behind Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, respectively.
Okay.
Herbert over the middle, and picks up 20 yards on that. Stays in bounds too.
And I'm okay with it.
We might have overtime on this one.
We might.
This year, by the way, to be fair though, this year, Justin Herbert leads the league in fourth quarter comebacks with 4.
Okay. So he's going to. So here's the thing: the winner of this game is going to get credit with a fourth quarter comeback. That kind of skews what that stat means, because only one of these quarterbacks really had a fourth quarter comeback.
And that's a big pickup. And 20 to the 10 and touchdown. That's exactly, there it is. All right, so this is turned into a hell of a good game at this point. Oh boy. So let us know down in the comments who you're rooting for is returning in what could be easily one of the greatest games of all time, even though the NFL website has not decided to update. So
that is a wow.
Yeah. That's 40. Yeah, so now it's 40-37. The extra point making it 41. But again, Roethlisberger's got a timeout left and the 2-minute warning.
Have any of these drives that Roethlisberger put together this quarter? There was one that was a full length. There was 2 off of turnovers.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, like I said, he's put the numbers up big time in this game.
Yes. So now it's up to. So now is when you get a guy like.
First comment. Steelers just give a T-date, yeah. But like I said, I mean, with what Roethlisberger has done in this fourth quarter, can you really say, it's out? I mean, right now, he's 28 for 42 with 273 yards and 3 TDs.
I don't think you said anything that angered the football gods. I just want you to know that, Zybucks. You said, let's go. I thought there was no way. And you didn't say anything. Chargers were definitely kicking themselves. You didn't say game over after the touchdown. No, I don't think you jinxed yourself.
I just think go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that Justin Herbert is, trying to prove he's going to be a beast in this league for years to come.
Oh, yeah. Only thing I don't want here is a tie. I think that would be such an anticlimactic letdown.
How are you going to get a tie? A touchdown and then a field goal?
Yeah.
To go into overtime?
You can do that.
You can do that.
Now, ironically enough, if that happened, then Pittsburgh would tie 2 weeks in a row. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, it's just here we go. It's all you've already seen it. These are the games where I wish you weren't ahead of me. But on the other hand, for our audience's members, it's important that you get to see it in live time. So
and even believe it or not, I think what I have is a couple seconds behind what ESPN's got. Harris, by the way, is back on the field, so I guess it wasn't concussion, because otherwise he wouldn't be cleared that fast.
Yes, he's got a broken neck, but he's no concussion.
Exactly. Yeah. Decapitation on the defense.
Decapitation. Brain's still healthy.
5 yards. Repeat first down.
His head fell off. Brain is still healthy. Please continue playing.
Roethlisberger set 5 wide receivers set up. And here we go. And down he goes. That'll take you to the 2-minute warning right off the bat, too. Biggest drive of the season. Yeah. This is, like I said, that's that turning point kind of thing. Because, again, if they can figure out a way to win this, they're only half a game behind Baltimore.
This is a huge game for both these teams, though, right? I mean, the winner is right there with the leader of their division, is the leader in the wild card. Like, it's everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and the loser
is
back in the pack.
Yeah. At 6-3-1, they would have the first wild card spot.
Yeah.
At 5-4-1, they would have the second wild card. No, actually, they wouldn't.
They'd be behind the Bills. They'd be behind the Chargers. Oh, no.
Yeah, they'd be behind, they'd be behind the Bills. They'd be behind Indianapolis probably too. I mean, Indianapolis is 6'5". They'd be 5'4". So I don't know how the points work out in that case. But then the Chargers would be 6-4, so that takes care of that part.
I think. Yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, then maybe they'll be showing us this right now. There's the AFC East standings.
Second down and 18. So.
Joey Bosa, you know he's juiced.
What's that?
Joey Bosa is juiced.
And oh my God. Down goes Roethlisberger a second time. So now you're looking at a 3rd and 26? And they're not taking the timeout. So they're gonna have to do hurry up offense here quick.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's huge.
Looking old 2 plays in a row. But he didn't have a chance to set and throw it away even on either of those sacks.
I know, and you can't spike the ball because that makes 4th down. But yeah, it's 3rd down and 29.
And they only have the one timeout left.
Throwing deep and nearly picked off. Somebody missed a route there. But yeah, now you're facing a 4th down and 29. Zybucks, I feel bad for you, kid. So
hey, don't count Zybucks out yet.
No, but listen, 4th down and 29,
Hey.
Do you Hail Mary and just say screw it? I would say
Freddie Mitchell, 4th and 28, man. Freddie Mitchell, 4th and 28.
But see, in this case, that actually wouldn't be enough. You'd be a yard short.
Yeah, I'm just saying it can happen. Of course, there was a quarterback who could move around in the pocket and buy some time. That's the other thing. You have to have the time to let the route open up at 28 yards, or he really has to.
The delay game looks like. Yep. So now it's 4th down and 31 and a half.
How did they take a delay a game?
They just weren't set, dude. They just weren't set.
My God.
I know, it's terrible. It's awful.
It is terrible and awful. What a collapse.
I mean, what is this?
I'm Roethlisberger.
Is Roethlisberger a Meshuggah? What is he? If I schnick it or something right now,
Oh my goodness.
4th down and 32, and we've lost it. And they throw it. The fuck was that? Oh, no flag. He threw it underneath for a 6-yard pass.
What a collapse.
Oh yeah.
It's like what a collapse, but the only reason they collapsed is because they could even get into the position where they could collapse, right? What a
Chargers hold on by the skin of their teeth on this one, and the celebration can officially begin. You got knee the ball down twice, and you're done.
Yeah. Wow.
Tomlin looking at it just like so close.
Wow.
Minute 15 left, no timeouts. Roethlisberger made it interesting though.
They got one timeout left.
What's that?
But they have one timeout left. But
again, it's a moot point. They may not even stop it. No, they did stop the clock.
They all do. You can't save them.
Not all time. Not every time. I've seen cases where they don't. I think when the Giants beat Carolina, they didn't do it. The Giants were kneeing the ball down, and Carolina didn't bother. They're just like, fuck it.
I will say this. On the other hand, if you have no timeouts left, can't we just call the game?
But again, miracle of the Meadowlands.
Yeah, well, nobody does that anymore. After the miracle of the Meadowlands, nobody's like, I'll just kneel.
Joe Pisarcik, how much we love you. So, I can start wrapping this up a little bit on this side. As they're going to knee the ball down and call it a night.
Yeah, we can thank everyone for watching us.
Appreciate it. We will be back again tomorrow as, again, my beloved New York Giants, fan for 4 decades, visit Tampa and Tom Brady, and we'll probably get royally crushed. So if you're a Giants hater, like Obi's an Eagles fan, or you just want to see somebody have a meltdown as a beloved team get their ass handed to them, they, pop on in. You know where we are. But
hopefully that game will be a quarter of the game this was, as Zybuck said. Unbelievable game. The Steelers.
Yeah, amazing game. And listen, the the Steelers are not out of this by any stretch because we already did the math on it. They're not that far out. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, they've had a good run the last 4 or 5 games anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a rough start, but then, yes, they had their 4-game unbeaten streak comes to an end. 5-game unbeaten streak.
Because we're watching hockey now.
Well, yeah, I don't know how the Penguins are doing right now.
No, I meant unbeaten streak. It's a hockey term.
Oh yeah, well, is it? Whatever.
Yeah, you talk about your unbeaten streak only in hockey.
No, I think you say that in all sports. Because it is an unbeaten streak. They went 4-0-1.
Yes, but it's a term that I personally consider a hockey term. Because
actually, the Penguins are a point behind, with 1 game above the Devils right now.
Maybe
and the Flyers.
Yeah, basketball doesn't have ties. Baseball doesn't have ties.
Baseball it has had ties in the past, and Japanese baseball has ties.
Yes, but we're talking about how we talk about sports. So when you say an unbeaten streak, yes, you are technically correct. But when I hear the term unbeaten streak, I think hockey, and that's not a conversation I want to have at 11:38 when the football game's over.
Yep.
So, you know where you can find us here at Stream Punk Sports on Twitch, Stream Punk Sports everywhere else except for Twitter, where there's 15 characters, so we hold the S.
Yes. So, but thanks as always for tuning in. We appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thoughts, comments, ideas, drop us a message. Also, you can reach us at streampunksports@gmail.com if you got any questions or any ideas on what you want as well. If there's any game you want us to cover, if you want to get our opinion, or if you just want to call up and just basically say how much we suck, drop us an email. Let us know.
Or how awesome we are. We'll take that too.
Oh yeah, we'll take that one too. If you got something nice to say it. But yeah, the Hawks actually, the Blackhawks started off 1-5, and now have won 5 out of 6. So, but yeah, like I said, my Devs scored 4 last night. Was it last night? In the 3rd period, and came back and won 5-3 in Tampa, no less. So, respect to that, even though the League Hockey 3rd jersey is going to look like crap. So, anyway, we're calling it a night. Thanks as always for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Take care. Boop.